I, Kipchirchir William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of Kenya's Defense Forces, do hereby ordain, declare, and direct that the municipality of Eldoret has been conferred with city status.
City gobamu, Darita manamu, Olombo saimu, City nebamu, President gobamu, Darita manamu, Olombo saimu. Kulangoma, president nebo mut.
Well, karibu sana. This is Afric 24. My name is Mzalando, and today we have a different feature altogether. We are going to feature the Eldoret city, the new city in town in Kenya. So, karibu ni sana. There's a link that I've sent out there. If you want to join the program, please feel free to join. We are going to communicate in either English or Kiswahili. Kwa hivyo karibuni sana, usiogope kuja kwa studio kwa sababu ya lugha. We are going to communicate in a language that everybody will understand. Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Afric 24, where we bring you the latest and the most exciting developments from across the continent. I am your host, Mzalendo, and tonight we have a special program lined up for you. As many of you have heard, Eldoret, a vibrant town in Kenya, has just been elevated to a city status by President William Ruto. This is a monumental location, not just for Eldoret, but for the entire nation, with a population of about 500,000 people. Eldoret now qualifies to be a city. Eldoret is known as an industrial hub in the North Rift region, and it's often referred to the home of champions due to the rich athletics history. That is the home of people like in Kipchoge Keino, people like Eliud Kipchoge, so many. I mean, the list is endless. So this is what we are going to discuss tonight. But tonight we are going to dive deeper into its elevation into a city status. Does Eldoret truly deserve this city status? What does it mean for the residents of the surrounding regions of Eldoret? We explore the challenges and the opportunity that comes with the new title, and how Eldoret compared to other cities in Kenya and around the world. We will also hear from the local residents, business owners, and community members who will share their insights and experiences. So stay tuned as we embark in an exciting journey to understand the implications of the new status of Eldoret. Let's get started. Karibuni sana. I have sent the link outside there. If you want to join the show, please welcome into tonight's program. And now, first, I want to give you the background of you know what it entails to start to be a city, to be given that charter and become a city. So I welcome you, audience, to talk about this wonderful city called Eldoret. You know, Eldoret for a long time it has just been a town, and kind of it's a bit isolated. If you've never been into the North Drift area, that's a town where you'll find a lot of traffic of goods passing in through Eldoret to other countries like Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and so on. So Eldoret is actually a hub, and despite all that, Eldoret, or in spite of all that, Eldoret also has got an international airport. Now, it is also the bread basket of the Rift Valley. Most people in Eldoret are farmers, so we look at the opportunities that is brought about by this city status right now. But does it really qualify to have the status? Now, the journey out of it being a city status, you know, Eldoret, we have Eldoret International Airport, Moi Teaching Referral Hospital, Moi University. There are all these kind of infrastructures that are in Eldoret. Yes, and the significance of these infrastructures being in Eldoret, we want to really dive into the real issue. And I had expected some guest here by the name Keep. I don't know where he is. Keep, you had requested a link. I've sent you a link out there, and please just click on the link and come into the studio, and we talk about your lovely city, Eldoret city. Just the other day, the president was meeting local leaders and giving them the opportunity now to have Eldoret as a city. Does this increase its revenue allocation from the national government? We want to find out whether being a city increases the revenue allocation. Yeah, and we have seen other cities also. We've seen Kisumu City. um, I don't know whether much is happening or it is just a name that is being given to these particular towns and being elevated to the city status. What does that really imply when a small town is elevated into a city status? Now, if you have not subscribed to Africa, feel free go to the YouTube channel and make sure that you have subscribed to Afric 24. Don't shy away. You are free to come into the studio, speak your mind, and we enjoy this particular topic, especially if you're a resident of LD. Karibu sana tu kwa hii program ya leo. Tunakaribisha nyinyi wote muje hapa tujadiliane, tuone kuwa kwamba hii Eldoret city ina deserve kuwa city, ama ni siasa ama ni propaganda ya ku make sure that hii kura yote ya LD imeenda kwa rais rais no, ati rais Daniel, rais William Samoei Ruto. I think I've still I have some hangover of the late president. So this is some of the things that we are going to discuss today. Tuko na mwenzangu hapa Keep, tafadhali salimia watu na uwasalimie na lugha ya nyumbani kwanza.
Mzalendo, habari ya leo? Hiyo
Ningependa
ni Nick,
mzuri. Yes, mzalendo ndio huyu, lakini
ndio
ningependa
hiyo.
usalimie watu wa huko nyumbani kwenyu na lugha ya kinyumbani na uambie uko pande gani.
Very good. Mzalendo, akotok biik tugul chebo kalenjin ale chamgei. Chamgei biikab gaa, chamgei biikab kutit. Uamune biikab chego, biikab kutit ne tangus. Ami emet nekile, ami Europe, ami olep Europe oli. Une gaa, agere kokendeiwok Eldoret koek city. City of champions, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Ako oye, ongebwat tugul keng'alal eng yu kenai kele yomegei kai kekure Eldoret City, ako ngoto yomegei ne nemakat ketindoi ak ketinye ni ak ne. Oye, karibuni sana. Atoche biik tugul chebo kalenjin alejin karibuni sana, tukuje tuongee pamoja, tuone ni kweli kwamba inafaa tukue Eldoret City kulingana na vile tuko. Karibuni sana, tulete vichwa sisi zote pamoja, tudiscuss, tuelewane na tutaendelesha Kenya, tutaendelesha Eldoret na kila kitu itakuwa sawa. Asante sana mzalendo.
Thank you, sana Keep, for that intro. The reason why I tell our viewers out there is that this is somebody from your Singishu. It's not that we are guessing about the Eldoret city. We make sure that we invite a resident of Eldoret to come and really tell us what he feels personally as a resident of Eldoret. Is this status, was it really necessary, ama ni siasa, ama ni nini, ama ni maendeleo italeta? kwa sababu tumeona cities kama Kisumu zilipatiwa charter the other time. Tumeziona Mombasa city, na hatujaona maendeleo kubwa sana ile imeleta na hii city. Kitu ile ya kwanza ningependa kuuliza tu wewe, kwa maoni yako, kwa hisia yako, unaona ni kama hii city itasaidia watu wa Eldoret nini, kabla tuingie kwa siasa ya ya ingefaa ama haingefaa ama nini. Hii city kama ni ukweli Eldoret ni city, ingemanufaa wanafanya wakaaji wa Eldoret kivipi?
Mzalendo ama Nick, vile nakujua
Yes, go
ile
on.
kitu naona watu wa Eldoret watafaidika sana na hii city ni kwamba
Mhm.
kuna chata ikishapeanwa na serikali kwamba tunapatia hii town ikuwe city.
Mhm.
Kuna kwanza kwa wale wafanyikazi kwa hiyo town, kuna ile kitu inaitwa minimum wage.
Mhm.
Kuna minimum wage mara mbili, kuna ya city na kuna ya local towns ama municipal towns.
Mhm.
Watu wenye wanafanya kazi Eldoret City, sasa minimum wage yao italingana na mwenye ako Nairobi pia.
Mhm.
Na tukisonga hivyo kwa mwenye ako Nairobi pia, kama minimum wage yake iko juu na imelinganishwa na mwenye ako Eldoret, pia
Mhm.
tusisahau ule landlord alikuwa analipwa pesa ya city ama pesa
Mhm.
ya municipal council, yake pia itapanda juu. Unaona,
Mhm.
ule landlord alikuwa analipwa kama 5,000 kwa single room ama bed space ama bed inaitwaje, ile nyumba iko na jikoni ile self contained ama self confused,
Mhm.
itapanda kidogo, itapanda from 5,000 maybe 8,000 ama 10,000, kitu kama hiyo. Hiyo
Mhm.
itakuwa, hiyo ni manufaa moja.
Mhm.
Kwa upande ya ukulima ambapo siwezi elewa sana, upande ya
Mhm.
ukulima kama mahindi, maziwa, ile mboga ya kienyeji kama soja kutoka kwetu inaitwa soja na isaga, sijui kama itakuwa affected na
Mhm.
maziwa yetu mala kwanza, ambapo hiyo ni kawaida.
Mhm.
Siwezi kujua kama itakuwa affected, but I know itakuwa city na
Mhm.
pesa ya kila kitu inapanda juu, naona.
Mhm.
So kuna ile inaitwa advantages na disadvantages of growing Eldoret to be a city and just to remain as a municipal council. You see,
Mhm.
so we cannot deny the government policy of making
Mhm.
Eldoret city to be a city.
Mhm.
It's just because of what they have decided. But do you have enough resources? Do you have everything that makes Eldoret qualified to be a city? You have not asked me that. You have
I
asked me
will.
only the advantages. We'll
I,
come
I
back
will.
to that.
I will, because I wanted to, because this is something that is already being hyped a lot. We are going to talk about the advantages of Eldoret being a city. You've mentioned a few of them, and that is the expectations of the residents of Eldoret. Now that they are a city, that it means one, more funding from the national government to improve in the infrastructure. That is something that could not have been achieved when it was a municipality. So it means that there will be more funding from the national government. It means that now Eldoret will attract more investors in various sector, including sports tourism. A lot of Eldoret needs a lot of recreational centers, parks, amenities, things like that for the residents, and this will be done by of course, the national government in coordination with the county government of Wasingishu. So these are some of the benefits that will come to the residents of Eldoret. But now, with a government that is struggling to pay its workers and struggling to even finance the county government, I don't know whether it was in a rush to implement this particular city, to
I, I
implement
think I
this.
think I think Zalendo, when you
Mhm.
talk of that word in a rush, I don't want you to go further because might have forgotten what you are saying. Me, I can see that the government
Mm,
they were in a rush because you remember, and even from the highlight of the screen, that Eldoret City, the
mm,
city of Kenyan athletes,
mhm,
as we are speaking right now, we don't have even a sports ground for our athletes to train on
mhm,
in the city itself. We are making our athletes to train in like Iten. We make
mhm,
our athletes to train in some place like Kaptagat. We make our athletes to train in some places like Kapsabet.
mhm.
Yet we want to make the main city to be the main town, Eldoret town, to be a city, while they don't have even a place whereby we call this is a sports club or a city that like Nile Stadium or Moi Stadium Kasarani. We don't have it. You see,
You mean Eldoret 64 Stadium is being constructed? You are not aware of that?
it is constructed, but it is
Mm-hmm,
not yet qualified to be a city because of that
mm-hmm,
because of that construction. It's not
mm-hmm,
qualified yet. You see, we have
mm-hmm.
even the original Kipchoge Stadium in Eldoret. It is not even up to the standards of this stadium in Jogorod. What is the name?
City Stadium.
Such a stadium in Jogorod. It doesn't even qualify to be like that. But yet we call even the name of a very international athlete that made Kenya to be Kenya where we are right now. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
But we are now focusing on just making the city, just making the Eldoret to be a city, only because of we are focusing on what we are trying to gain.
Mm-hmm.
We have to handle these things in a way that we have to handle the things, the benefits of our people in the ground, the benefits of the people, the business community,
Mm-hmm.
the border rider who is in
Mm-hmm.
town Eldoret himself,
Mm-hmm.
the taxi man who is doing a taxi. Do you have even an international taxi company in Eldoret like Uber?
I don't know. You are the residents of Eldoret. Can you
That,
tell us
those,
more? And that's why we have
those are the
African.
reasons. Those are the reasons why we have to share the link for the people in Washingishu to tell us because the very international athletes
Mm-hmm.
from the region are the ones who tell us surely is Eldoret qualified to be a city because they are the ones to benefit from the international city of Eldoret. Hmm?
Now, Eldoret is the home of Kipchoge Keino, Eliud
Yes.
Kipchoge. Yes, it's the home
Not
of
Eliud
Eliud.
Kipchoge. No, we
Mm.
have difference. This is Eliud Kipchoge. You are putting it on the screen,
And
and we
who
have
is
Kipchoge Keino. Kipchoge Keino,
Eldoret is the home of Kipchoge
the,
Keino,
the veteran legend, the veteran legend
the
Kipchoge Keino
veteran, yeah, where Kipchoge Keino. And
himself. Yes.
Kipchoge Keino has got a stadium, has got his own stadium named after him,
which is
yeah?
which is not constructed even to his own standards.
Hmm?
The way he brought gold to Kenya, it is not constructed.
Really?
Yes,
What is the leadership doing and the residents? I mean, what are you people doing in that is wrong? Is it that you are electing the wrong leaders or what? Hmm?
Mzalendo. When it comes to election of our leaders, it's not that we are electing the wrong leaders only in Wasingishu, even in the whole country,
Hmm?
starting even from the national government itself, presidency, the MPs, the senators, the members of the National Assembly, women reps, and all those. They are not people who cares for the people of Kenya. They care only for their own tumbocrats.
Hmm?
Yes.
I've been wondering. This is the home that there are so many billionaires in Eldoret,
Sure.
and
Sure.
many in the name of athletics and also in the name of business, and yet you don't have a stadium as an infrastructure development. We have now been in to almost 10 years of more than 15 years of devolution, yet Eldoret people don't have a stadium. In the morning, I understand that every morning you see athletes running up and down in Eldoret from 5 a.m. in the morning, trying to search for this elusive gold and the money that comes in athletics. Why hasn't the government really invested in this? And remember, keep you have had the Moi 24 years regime. Then now we have William Samoei Ruto. Why are the residents really keen on athletics development in the area, or hiyo ni wameichukua tu kama mzaa ama watu wanacheza tu game yao? Are you people very keen on tapping into the money that comes with the sports?
Mzalendo, one thing that I can tell you is that
Mm,
even you yourself, our holidays when you are in school,
mm,
wewe ulikuwa unacheza ile mpira yetu ya makaratasi ilikuwa tunaifunga, naikumbuka.
mm.
Wewe ulikuwa unapatikana wewe kwa
Ilikuwa
class
inaitwa juala, mpira ya juala.
juala, juala something, sisi kwetu tulikuwa tunaitanga livunde. So
Migunde.
hiyo mpira livunde,
Eh?
hiyo mpira hiyo
Mm,
unaicheza sana, uko very very much, we are the best in that mpira ya makaratasi hiyo. Lakini
mm,
kutoka nyumbani vile umetumwa shule au kutuma kwenda
mm,
kucheza mpira,
mm,
umetuma kwenda kusoma.
mm,
It was counted that you are the odd one out in the society because you are playing football or you are playing juala.
mhm,
The same thing with this athletics whereby mtu anaenda shule, kuna sports, kuna wakati wa kukimbia na kuna wakati wa kucheza mpira kwa primary school.
mhm,
So wewe unapatikana uko number one kwa kukimbia, wakati wa kukimbia uko number one, cross country number one, wameenda international, wewe umezunguka raundi 12 uko number one, wamezunguka raundi 8 uko number one, hivyo. Unaona?
mm,
But
mhm,
the mind of my parents, they know that I went to school to study, not to run.
mhm,
You know that?
mhm.
Mzalendo, just continue. Let me take the call from the other side. They want a link. Let me give them the link.
All right, all right. We are talking about Eldoret, and let me just give you a sneak preview of what really transpired. If you're joining us right now, I'll play this video, and you'll get to see exactly what we are talking about in a second. Mm. So we've had the keep side of story telling us, for him, he feels that it was not the right time for Eldoret to have a city. But I feel for the residents of Eldoret, they feel different about it.
I,
Let's hear from the president.
Kipchirchir William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of Kenya's Defense Forces, do hereby ordain, declare, and direct that the municipality of Eldoret has been conferred with city status.
Hola mi te goroshat takegawe. Asaiwe ongetara chillare sitwe. Asaiwe asaiwe ongetara chillare sitinyano. Ongetaro chage chamilore kogawe. Asaiwe ongetara chillare sitiwe. Kongo ikafano koti mocha. Nyosita kwe sitinale. Sitina wa Eldoret. Ano ikyo kwe gogo se tago barwe. Asaiwe ongetara chillare sitiwe. Go bar siru iwe. Asaiwe ongetara chillare sitinyano. Aga siru amoitawe. Kunyone asaiwe ongetara chillare sitiwe.
Zalendo
Yes, sir.
wamepiga simu wanalia mbaya sana.
Wanalia nini? Wewe ndio umechokoza.
Amesema
Mm.
amesema simplify the entry. Una vitu mingi inaitika sana.
Hapana,
Wapea link
mm. Okay,
sasa.
chukua ni link tu ya StreamYard tu ndio nakupatia. Hii moja tu
Si
ndio
mimi
na
nimeingia
click.
tu na link ya kawaida tu.
Hii ndio hakuna ati iko na mambo mingi. Wacha nikupestie tena hiyo link ya kawaida hapo kwa group.
Sawa, alafu
Ndio.
utaendeleza, wacha nitatoka kidogo niwatumie.
Nimekupestia hiyo the link so that you can send to them and just forward it to them. We are talking about Eldoret City. Eldoret City is the new city in town. Remember, Eldoret is the home of the legend Kipchoge Ezekiel Keino. I'm sure people don't know about Kipchoge Ezekiel Keino. Born in 1940 in Nandi Hills, Kenya. He's retired Kenyan track and field athlete renowned for his remarkable achievement in the middle and long distance running. He is celebrated as one of the pioneers of Kenya athletics, having won a total of 4 Olympic medals, including 2 gold medals in 1968 Mexican Mexico City Olympics and in Munich in 1972. Stories are being told that Kipchoge Keino, during his race for 1,000 meters in 1968, he was very, very sick. He had a stomach pain, and he went on to win the 1,000 meters race. Then later on, he also won a silver in the 5,000 meters race. Then he completed the whole in steeplechase in 1972. Steeplechase, he won gold. So his contribution in athletics and especially in Eldoret has been remarkable. He has a school called Kipchoge Keino, providing care for the orphans and all that. So he has a lot of charity that is going on. So this old man is a legend, and he needs to be celebrated. One thing I need to tell Eldoret residents, wherever you are, those statues and sculptures that you are putting on in Eldoret, those ones should be pulled down. Immediately. Should be pulled down immediately, and you at least make some. You at least buy or do some modern kind of sculptures in that city. I mean, it is embarrassing to see the kind of sculptures that are in Eldoret town. That is one of the things that I saw that is a bit wanting. You don't have enough artists in Eldoret to do this sculpture work. Then you can to contract one art venture impressions. Give me a call. We will help you out in making some of these sculptures, like we did in athletics Riada House. Those sculptures were done by one Ayub, and he is a very good sculpture artist. So please contact the right people to do for you the right job. Keep, thank you. You are back now. I hope you have sent the link to your
I've tried to send the link to the people, but they are saying that
mm,
they are even asking even the maker of
the method. They just click and then they say enter. It is click and then you enter the studio. It is click, then you enter the studio. That is the only way. If you are watching, but are they watching the show? They are not even watching the show.
In fact, I've sent them the screenshot of what you are doing now.
Oh, you have sent them a screenshot. That is wonderful. Now, if you're
Mhm.
watching this particular show, make sure that first, when we send you the link out there, I will send it once again. If you don't have the link and you know how to get into StreamYard, please, I'm sending you the link outside there. Just click on the link. It will give you an option of to enter. Put your camera on. If it tells you about, maybe you have a phone that doesn't have a camera or something, I don't know, but just click the link, enter the studio, and we will see you and welcome you into our free platform. Now, if you are following us on YouTube, you can just follow on YouTube without entering the studio. You'll be on the comment section. I will also give you the link for the YouTube channel so that you can follow the conversation on YouTube. There, you can pose your questions. You can have the interaction with the lovely people like Awesome, people like Penny Nyagaka, who are on the comment section right now, so that we can have this conversation going. Today, we are discussing away from politics. We are discussing the development in Eldoret. Now that Eldoret has been elevated to city status, what does it mean to the local residents of Wasingishu? Does it mean more money? We are just going to look into the benefits of our city and how the government comes in when you are given the city status. First, the revenue increases if you are paying land rates. That will now increase. It also come. It will also bite into your pocket. Now, if in terms of wages or salary, wages being paid to the locals, that also now has to be in conformity with the city standards. You know, Eldoret has been a municipal town for a very long time. The development of Eldoret has stagnated for quite some time. Even if you look at the images of Eldoret city right now, you know, at least you can see a few hotels here and there. But remember, this is the home of Kenyan athletes. This is the home where we have the best athletes in our country. Yet the infrastructure development of this particular city is a bit wanting. Maybe the kind of investment that people are doing, especially our athletes, they are not investing in the Elroad. But I understand they have invested quite a lot. Keep, maybe you can tell us about the kind of investments that we have in Eldoret town. You know that attracts maybe other investments to come. What kind of investment is in Eldoret? Keep. I hope keep umehang. There's one Kipto Taras. Oh, there is. Awesome is saying there's one Kipto Tarus in Kingston City, USA, who is the greatest sculpture artist. No, no. Oh, Keep wacha nikwambie. Awesome, wacha nikwambie. Sisi hapa tuko hapa hatujasema what we can do, but if you go to Riadha House, you'll see some of the works that we have done in sculpture. So ukienda pale, you will see. And I remember when we were pitching for that job for Riadha, there were so many other sculpture artists who wanted to do the same work. But a friend of mine by the name Ayub Mugo, did the sculpture for Riadha House, and is one of the good sculpture artists that you can get locally. I wish Ayub, I know you are listening to the program. I had told you earlier on to come and showcase your work. This is the opportunity where you can get the jobs now that Eldoret residents have brought down their sculptures. It is high time now you pitch your skills here on Afrique so that you get the opportunity to do for them a good job, a clean, good job, and not very expensive. But again, most of these sculpture artists are damn expensive. Some of us cannot really afford the services of a gold sculpture artist, but they are good. The others who are very considerate and they can do a good job in Eldoret town. Instead of looking at what we were seeing earlier on in the media, the sculptures in Eldoret city. Uh, those sculptures are a bit interesting. I want to see a few of them. Sculptures in Eldoret city. In Eldoret city, it has really made some news, uh, and you wonder what these people were thinking. Mm. So, mm, so I think, and it was top news in. Let me just copy the link. The link uh, to our channel. There's so many people who want to join in, but they are saying they can't join in. They're joining StreamYard for the first time. Now, for the first time, it will be look a little bit complicated for you, but it is not that hard to join StreamYard, my friends. Please, just find time and join StreamYard. It is one of the easiest things that you can ever imagine. Joining the studio is just by a click, a click, a click, a click. So this is what is making headlines. Mm, this sijui.
Here in studio. But first, Eldoret Municipality Management was forced to remove the statues of two athletes from the streets of the now fifth city after heavy backlash from the public, who ridiculed the structures as embarrassing, while the leadership of the city says the statues were donated by stakeholders under the advertisement and publicity arrangement. They admit they were also flabbergasted by the work they saw on the streets. And as Emmanuel now reports, the statues were removed in the dead of the night.
They say art, just like love, lies in the eyes of the beholder. But Wednesday night, the glory of an Eldoret-based artist was short-lived as an uproar from a majority of Kenyans dimmed the dream he had to have his work of art on display in the country's newest city, the city of Eldoret. The artist, who has characteristically kept a low profile, as many globally acclaimed artists do, had in his own eyes gone over and beyond to impress the visitors with a new look state-of-the-art statues that would have been the face of the city of champions. On Wednesday afternoon, the three statues of athletes, Milk Fountain, Wheat and Maize, were all basking in glory at the central business district until an online war erupted against the statues, which some say looked good from far, but were far from looking good.
Kichwa ni kubwa, mtu ni mkimbiaji, yako na kichwa kubwa. Sijui hata viguu zinakaaje. Wewe maana mkimbiaji anakimbia hivi.
These pictures, which went viral of a female athlete in action, bringing Kenyans together, as many ridiculed it as falling below expectations. But even as Kenyans continued to haggle and argue online, another male statue, which sadly never made it to the streets, was still in the works, undergoing final touches. The pressure, which increased and decreased in equal measure, forcing the municipality leadership to remove the structures at midnight. These maize cobs survived the purge and by dawn got a facelift, as the brown scorched colors were replaced by green, white and vibrant ones. The Milk Fountain retained its place and continues to pour. The city's management now say the structures were a donation from well-wishers, but just like other Kenyans, could not believe their eyes.
So eventually, when they were unveiled, we were all extremely disappointed, and they were doing it for free, by the way. In exchange for maybe a bit of branding for their businesses, but it didn't quite. It didn't quite capture the imagination we had.
The management saying it will now scout for other sculptors who will deliver generally acceptable statues like this one of two-time Olympic champion and former world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge. The statue is situated at the Nike European headquarters in the Netherlands.
We all got so busy that there does not seem to have been much supervision on the preparation of those monuments. In the workshops of those people who had offered to do the job for us.
Eldoret City residents still admit they were bamboozled and taken aback by the structures of the athletes they will not recognize. But the city says there was no particular athlete in mind, but just a generic one celebrating a win.
Bado. Mtu kama Kipchoge, sijaona statue yake.
Ile calabash ambayo imewekwa juu huko ni symbol yetu ya Wanandi ambayo ya Kalenjin yote ambayo tunatumia kunywa maziwa.
Emmanuel To, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Keep hizo masculpture wewe ndio ulikuwa umeagiza ama ni nini bwana? Inakaa
hata sijui ilitoka nje gani hiyo.
Kichwa hizo kichwa.
Sisi Netherlands tumeweka ya Kipchoge vile inafaa.
Ile Netherlands tumeweka Kipchoge.
Hiyo iko sawa kabisa hiyo.
Hata Athletics Kenya iko na masculpture mzuri sana.
Kabisa.
Ukienda kwa ofisi za Athletics Kenya, you'll find a very, very nice sculptures.
You know what, Mzalendo, there is a problem in Kenya. There is a problem in Kenya, and you'll have to admit that, and you'll even know that there is a problem in Kenya. Even the police guys who are going for training in Tiganje, they are told if you are not posted in Eldoret, you will be a poor person. Lazima upelekwe Rift Valley ndio utapata pesa. Are you seeing that? That is why even these guys who put the very, very negative sculptures and all the things that they were representing the whole county were doing that is because maybe they were expecting something else. You see? Eldoret is one of the very known towns. For me, I'll call it a town because I don't know if Kenyans have agreed to be a city. It is well known for maize growing, wheat which is ngano. It is known for athletics people. But it was very so much sad that we even don't have a very real sculpture for one, even a very single athlete person like Kipchoge Keino or even Eliud Kipchoge himself. I think you understand what I mean, Kipchoge Keino or Eliud Kipchoge. Okay, I can explain that. Kipchoge Keino is one of the very first Kalenjin marathoners who won the marathon. The first person who won the marathon. I don't know which year was that, but you can Google and you can see that. Then thereafter, we've been having several athletes.
1968.
Yeah? It was 19 something. And then now we have several athletes who have now made Kenya 68 years to be until where we are today. Eliud Kipchoge himself. That even the sculpture of Eliud Kipchoge is in here, Netherlands, and the original sculpture of Eliud Kipchoge. But the other day we are promoting Eldoret town to be a city, from municipality to be a city, but we have sculptures of at least that we don't know. They are not even known in any world. Even Tanzania, they don't have these athletes. What does that mean to us? It was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. Even instead of putting the white maize on the roundabout, they are putting the black maize. Do you know mzalendo, ile maize, ile mahindi nyeusi ile imeoza kwa shamba wakati mnafuna ya kutupia ng'ombe,
Mahindi imeoza, imekulwa na madudu.
imekula na madudu, ndio waliweka hiyo kwa street. Surely.
na yani, it took you guys so long to realize that this is a mistake, you know.
No, you know, now
Hakuna mtu yote angeleta hapo.
we wake up to see in the morning that things are changing.
Hello. We are losing you, keep ingia maana kuliana vizuri. We are losing you, and or maybe you got a phone call.
No, I
can
didn't
hear
even put a
you.
phone call.
Go
You can
on.
hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's why I'm saying I don't want this using of the phone. But hii kitu watu walifikia saa akili sana. Tuliamka asubuhi tu tunaona mahindi kwa roundabout, tujui hata iliwekwa saa ngapi. Mpaka saa hii vile tunaongea, nasikia hata kuna sculptures zingine zilikuwa zinaundwa
mawe.
mahindi ya nini ile imeoza ile, sijui walitoa wapi. Ai, Kenya bwana. Wakenya hawalali.
Sasa ni Kenya ama tafuta biashara, wala vijana watafute unga.
Si hata huyo atafute, si hata huyo mfanya biashara bado ni Mkenya.
Zinatengenezwa na
si bado ni Mkenya tu bado. Bado ni Mkenya huyo mtu.
Lazima watafuta. The only thing is that we must accept that the standards were very low, and they need to improve on the sculptures. And here in Africa, guys, tuwaidie tengeneza, hiyo ni biashara mzuri sana. Hapo kwa comment section kuna jamaa anaitwa Ayub Mugo, is a sculpture artist. I remember I did the proposal for Athletics Kenya na Riadha House, na hiyo biashara tukafanya kazi mzuri sana pale, na people have not complained about those sculptures that you see in that Riadha House. They are very, very good sculptures. So some of these things kuna watu wanaweza zifanya, it's only that the opportunities hazipatikani for a sculpture artist like the guy I'm talking about. So ni kitu ambao tunafaa kuangalia, people doing what they are really trained for, waifanye na ifanye vizuri sana. You keep on running away from the studio. Sijui ni nini mbaya nayo leo.
Network yangu leo ndio mbaya. Sijazoea mzalendo, sijazoea kutumia simu bro. Simu inanichanganya akili sana.
Kwa sababu ni gadget kadogo na wewe umezoea vitu kubwa kubwa. Unaendesha magari kubwa kubwa.
But maybe by next week kila kitu itakuwa sawa. I will have sorted everything by next week.
Yeah, we hope that we want you to be ready by next week, ndio tujue tutaenda wapi, because hii Eldoret bwana, hii Eldoret mi naona you guys
nini mzalendo Gypsy amenisalamia, Gypsy Kona amenisalamia pale kwa comment section. Said Gypsy, I'm very much okay, but the qualification of the city itself is what I really oppose by myself, because I had to prove my people here, but because of the network and all the problems, because I wanted to ask my people, the transport sector in Eldoret, do you have even like ile number 44 ya kwenda Githurai 44? Hatuna. Milk sector bado tutakuja tutapatana, vijana wanabeba maziwa na pikipiki.
This is time that
alafu tukuje kwa upande ya mahindi. Ngoja kwanza mzalendo, wacha ni explain this. Tupande ukuje pande ya mahindi, tunapata vijana wanazunguka na gorogoro. Wamebeba gorogoro na baiskeli, wanatafuta mahindi ya kununua na kuuza town. That is very wrong. We will again come to fresh vegetables like managu, soja, sukuma wiki and all those things, na even nyanya and dania. unapata ule mama anang'ang'ana ako kwa barabara, anangoja Nissan aweke ile soja yake kwa gunia, aingize kwa kiti ya mbele ya dereva na amwambie nalipia hiyo kiti yote, which is okay, no problem on that, but because in the city we need to specify. Ukiingia pale Kinango, unapatanga malori wamepack, wanapeleka sukuma Nairobi, cabbage, kitunguu, wanapeleka city Nairobi. Unaona? Whereby we also need those things. Ikuwe inaingia Eldoret Reserve, lori inapeleka mboga town, city center. Lakini sio mama mzee anakaa pale na nyango anatetemeka pale na mgongojo yake, anangoja ni sana mpelekee mboga town. Tutaongelea hiyo mambo ya relatives. Ngoja sijamaliza mzalendo. Tutakuwa na relatives.
Nimekupatia time, nakupatia muda.
Tuko na relatives wale wamefungua maduka, na I can quote one of them, hii ya wine and spirit. Wine and spirit, kuna jamaa ana operate wine and spirit pale, hana county government papers, lakini county askari wakikuja wanamwambia mimi ni ndugu ya the governor. Oh, wewe ndio fulani, unaitwa nani? Koti moja. Mimi ni ndugu ya koti moja. Unaitwa nani? Naitwa hivi na hivi na hivi. Tambulisho ndio hii. Wanaenda wanawacha jamaa aendeleze biashara yake illegally, alipi taxi yote. Unaona? Kwa sababu governor ni ndugu yake. We have to address I think because we are in a city, the city of Eldoret. Tutakuja street lights. Tuko na street lights enough. Ile inawaka 24/7 kwa town. Mzalendo, hata hapo wewe utanisaidia na hata panelist wenye wako hapa, watupatie, watuambie ni street gani iko na street light, gani haina street light, distribution hiyo stima na kila kitu. Buildings in Eldoret like Mombasa, the other day walibadilisha buildings rangi ikuwe rangi moja. Unapata Eldoret ni kama Mugimo, kuna mwenye ameweka green, kuna mwenye ameweka blue, kuna mwenye ameweka black, kuna mwenye ameweka hata red.
Watu wa Eldoret bana, ati Eldoret Mugimo.
There is nothing in Eldoret, bro. Let me tell you, if we come to the real table and define Eldoret, we have nothing in Eldoret. I'm telling you that. Hakuna kitu Eldoret.
Osam anakusikia huko, anakusikia.
I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Even the cabbage collection. The cabbage collection. The cabbage is all over, meandering all over the city. I'm sorry to call it a city because it's a city now. The cabbage are all over. Even the main stage. From the main stage ya kupanga watu wa Nairobi, Nakuru, Kisumu, wapi. Hakuna. Maji inalala pale ni kama baharini. Sports ground itself. Tuko na kiwanja ya sports ya kusema hapa hii ni kiwanja ya kina Kipchoge, ya kina Faith Kipyegon. Iko? Hakuna. And it is the source of champions. They call it the source of champions. Mzalendo, can you share the link for other people? Because I see now it's like there is a problem with the link because hakuna watu wengine wanaingia. Sisi wawili.
I've shared the link several times. Nile tu.
Kuna shida na link. There's a problem with the link.
The link. Okay, let me.
Kwa sababu watu kama kina nani Mburu, akina Nyabaya wako hapa. What's the problem with the link?
The link. Leo. The link nimeshare the same link that I'm sharing, the same link that people are using. I would have seen them if they have a problem. But let's continue with your I'll call it your observation or ranting about Eldoret City.
Yeah.
Although most residents have seen the new development as a good gesture by the president that will open other areas especially when it comes to development, infrastructure development. And that is what you are complaining about, the infrastructure development, yeah, Eldoret City. Now, before Eldoret City became a city, there was a public participation. These residents needed a city. So there are 7 qualifications that you need to look into when before you are given a city. First is the population. Population here, Eldoret city is over 250,000 people. So they definitely qualify to be a city. So long as you are over 250,000 people in a town, then it's likely that you're going to be given a city status. Other things include infrastructure development, although as you have said, there's nothing much to see in terms of infrastructure. What do they really have in terms of infrastructure? Do they have street lighting? That one is not there. Do they have markets in Eldoret town? So keep nataka uniambie kama you have got markets. Do you have fire stations? Do you have like a disaster management program? Although even the one in Nairobi City does not work, does not really manage disasters effectively. But those are areas that ought to have been addressed before they were given the city status. Now, how is it economically viable for the residents of uh, of uh, of Wasingishu? Let us dive into those issues and see how this is important. First, umesema hakuna stima, hakuna street lighting Eldoret.
Yes,
Wewe
of course.
mara mwisho ulikuwa Eldoret nilikuwa lini?
Nimekuwa Eldoret juzi mwezi wa tano,
Mm,
even though I was there like 4 days and then I came back here. But the
mm,
time I was there is nilikaa kabisa ni kuanzia Januari
mm,
mpaka mwezi wa 4
mhm,
nikarudi, and then I came back to Kenya for 4 days.
mhm,
And the way I saw it, it's so pathetic that they don't have street lights.
mhm,
The issue of electricity coming, going is
mhm,
also a question that cannot be asked. And
mhm,
so many things that
mhm.
can make a city to be a city, Eldoret does not qualify. It cannot qualify. In fact,
But
even when it comes to even like investment, like
mm,
you Musalendo now, if you
mm,
come to Eldoret town, for example, for you, I
mm,
know you can have an apartment, or you can have a room, or even a bungalow in Kapsoya. You will stay in
mm,
Kapsoya for like 1 to 3 years. You will just say, no, I'm tired staying in the city. Let me
mm,
try to look even for a small piece of land
mm,
outside the city,
mhm,
outside the city of Eldoret, that
mhm,
I'll be investing. You know,
mm,
you don't want to go far from Eldoret town. You want maybe to come to like some place like Chepkoilel. You want to
mm,
come to some place like Seoul, for
mm.
example, where I come from. Are the people accommodative to accept you, to stay with them in the same environment,
You mean
to qualify
the
Eldoret?
you mean ebu sema hapo bana. You mean the people of Eldoret cannot allow somebody from outside to be
I'm
to
not
stay with
saying
them?
they cannot allow, but we
Mhm,
are here together, putting our minds together.
mhm,
Can the people allow us to be together? Are you saying? Like now, if I come to, if I come, I go to Homa Bay.
mhm,
Can I be accepted in Homa Bay? Can I be accepted in Nyeri to have a land? I build my own land. I do farming. You understand what I mean?
uh-huh,
Without any
uh-huh,
problem,
mhm,
without waiting for 2027 elections, and then I'll run away. Hmm?
mhm,
Those are some of the things we need to consider. If this city of Eldoret really is serious to be a city, we need to be assured that everything is okay. You see?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Mzalendo, if you get what I mean.
Ebu niambie, you know, you have brought a very interesting context, like
Yes.
the residents of Wasingishu
Mm-hmm.
will not accommodate foreigners to.
Mzalendo, listen to me very well.
Mm,
Don't put your words in my mouth.
mm,
I'm asking this way.
mm,
I am from Wasingishu. I
mm-hmm,
have bought a piece of land in the city center itself, and I may call it Kapsoya or
mm,
Elgon View or even
mm,
Langas or whatever the place.
mm,
I've stayed in my house in Langas
mm,
or Kapsoya or wherever the place for more than a years. But I say now, my
mm,
land now, because I've been here for long, I
mm,
want to build rentals to
mm,
rent out. Then
mm,
I move outside Eldoret city,
mm,
outskirts of Eldoret city like Kapsoya, no, not
mm,
Kapsoya, like Junction,
mm,
Soy,
mm,
Kapseret,
mm,
Maiden, or whatever.
mm.
Am I assured that I'll be with these people living peacefully? Because peacefully, not peacefully, peacefully, because I've invested in Eldoret town. Now I'm expanding to the outskirts of Eldoret town. I don't know. Are you getting
Now
my scenario there?
you see
Am I safe? Am I safe to outskirts of town?
you are getting into some area that you understand best because you've been a
Very
resident
good, very good, very
of
good,
your
very good,
thingy.
very good.
For me, what the kind of questions I might be asking you is that yes, my name is Mzalendo. I have decided to settle in somewhere in Eldoret. Now, the question you are asking is that how will the residents in that particular area, especially in the city, will they accommodate me as a competitor, probably in business, or allow me to settle in that area, even if I bought land legally? Is that the kind of question that you are asking?
Sure, Mzalendo. Yeah, in fact, you are putting it in a very correct way. That
Mm,
I didn't want to come it directly. That if now I come to the outskirts of Eldoret,
mm,
a trading center, I am doing my puncture. Na repair pikipiki puncture, na repair kidogo kidogo.
mm,
Mimi ni Mkikuyu ama mimi ni Mjaluo ama mimi ni kabila gani? Mimi si
mm,
Mkalenjin.
mm.
Wale watu wa Kalenjin wa Eldoret watanikubali ama watanifukuza 2027 ikifika?
Now you are telling us the nature of your community, the nature of your people, the nature of the
No, no,
politics.
no, 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 no.
No, the
No,
way. Wait a
Mzalendo, I'm
minute.
not telling, no, listen to me. I'm not telling you the nature of my people, but I'm asking this. The person who comes from Masai land anakuja Eldoret, amekuja city center, ameshindwa na kukaa, anataka kukaa nje ya Eldoret kidogo tu, si ndani ya town, si ndani ya city,
Ameshindwa kukaa kwa sababu gani?
kwa sababu labda anaona maisha ni ngumu, anataka kuingia huko ndani, security yake huko ndani iko sawa.
Oh yes, so that is, oh yeah. So now you're putting it the right way. You are talking
Yes,
about a foreigner who has come to Eldoret, wants to start their business. He finds that it's living in that city is very expensive. Wacha niingie huko ndani Langas, huko ndani nikomboe mahali na nikimaliza kazi
very
yangu
good,
nikirudi nyumbani back and forth. Am I
very good,
really safe
very good.
in Eldoret? Now
Exactly. That is
that is now a problem of the county government and national government when it comes to security. You can tell me if there is a lot of insecurity in Eldoret. Being a resident of Eldoret, unajua, most of the audience here and the people in who are watching our program, some of them have not been to Eldoret. They only hear of Eldoret. Is it a safe place to live? Is it a safe place to start business now that they have been given the city status? Is it something that you think that it is not a safe place, that the county government under the leadership of Kotimoja should address the issues of insecurity in Eldoret? Is that what you're saying?
You know what, Mzalendo, what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to bring a very difficult issue that has happened before. That even some of the people who are there now in Eldoret, sometimes when it comes to election, they fear to stay there. Some they go home, or they go to where they originate from. And I think, Zalendo, you understand what I mean.
No, yeah,
I know,
I know.
I see what you have put there. What
Yes.
Awesome has put it, I know. I've seen it, I've read it. But what I'm trying to put it very clear is that let's not call a spade a big spoon while we know it's a spade. Do you know what I
You
mean?
Keep. I know you are trying to hide behind. You are trying to be you are trying to put up across a point, but you also don't want to hurt your community. That is the problem that you are
Exactly.
having. Yeah,
I don't
you are.
want to ask them because I cannot bring them in. I
Yeah,
cannot.
you are trying to put in a point, but you at the same time you are safeguarding your comment so that
Yes.
you look good on the other side. But let me tell you
Exactly.
the plain truth of what you are saying is that in you are seeing issue during the political season. It is a hot political sport. Those are the red spots in Kenyan politics. If you have got business and you don't align by the particular government of the day, if it is the government of William Ruto, and then you risk probably being chased away or losing your business in election time. So that is the risk, the risk and perception of the people about Eldoret and Wasingishu is that they cannot put their businesses there as foreigners because one, during the political season, anything can happen. And our politics is generally ethnicized so much that if you are a Kikuyu, for instance, and you are opposing a Kalenjin during the elections, duka yako inaweza chomwa, and that is the reality. We have seen it. Si ati ni vitu tunajidanganya hapa ati Afrika tutadanganya ati we are not we are
Very
not
good, very good. Now you are
we are
coming
not
out very clear, Mzalendo.
we, we are not
Let's not
tribalist.
let's not
We are tribalist. Yeah.
let's not cheat each other here that we are not tribalists, that people of Eldoret are so welcoming, while we know in our deep in our minds that the people in Eldoret, they say even when they are selling even a point of a piece of land, ule mwenye anauza anauliza umeuzia nani shamba? Ni mtu wetu ama ni nani huyo? Eh?
Unaona hizi
Eh,
vitu kama hizo, you can only get it here in Africa. So guys, if you're watching Africa, make sure you have subscribed, make sure that you log
So,
in
so,
and
so
be part of
sometimes,
the discussion.
Mzalendo, when we are talking like this, it is not that we are attacking anybody. We want what it belongs to Kenyans to be belonging to the Kenyan. Not that you are in Mzalendo, you are what it belongs to you. It only belongs to you when you are in Kisumu or when you are in Nyeri or when you are in Turkana or wherever. Wherever you are in Kenya, what you are owning it's yours. You see, not to be like unakuwa mtu anakutisha. You are intimidated all over until when you reach now where you know that we are born. Ati sasa hii ni yangu hii. No. We want
Okay.
Kenyans to own Kenya. We want Kenyans to live like white people, whereby we don't know where are you from. They do that. When you ask me where are you from, I'm from this country. Which country do you ask me where am I from? You see, those are
All
some of the
right.
things we want in Kenya.
Okay, hold on your thought as they bring in Mise. Mise Lem, karibu sana Africa, and tell us how you are doing. Welcome to the topic of today. We are talking about Eldoret City. Eldoret was initially a municipal uh, town, and now it has been elevated to city status. We are discussing with one of the residents who is Captain. And Gypsy Corner, Captain is from Eldoret, Wasingishu, so he is equally able to defend, appreciate, and even criticize what is happening in Eldoret. Mise, karibu sana. Najua umetoka kanisani, ni Sabato. Unajua watu wa SDA leo ni siku yao ya maombi. So mise, kama uko tayari.
Wacha nikunywe soya kidogo na I'm joining.
Ao, unajua leo watu wa SDA wanakunya ma soya beans, wanakula
Yeah,
vitu
wacha nikunywe
zingine,
kidogo, I'll join.
wanakula vitu zingine tofauti tofauti in the name of you know, their religion. So
Hawa
Captain,
wanasafiri hawa wanaenda mbinguni.
eh?
Wanasafiri wanaenda mbinguni.
Wakifika mbinguni wanaambiwa bwana, huko mbinguni bwana, tuliwaambia soya beans haiwezi kakuleta mbinguni.
Wanaambiwa huku mbinguni watu wanaenda Canaan, si hapa.
Mbinguni unaambiwa boss, kuna vitu mingi. Unajua watu generally watu waelewi hii mambo ya spiritualism and the way I take it. Unaona, in this world kuna Wahindi, kuna Waislamu, kuna Wasda, kuna watu wengi. Hata kuna rafiki yangu moja saizi wako na kanisa inaitwa Spaghetti. Spaghetti ni wale wanaomba hiyo spaghetti, hiyo pasta wanaiona ni kama Mungu wao sahii hapa Marekani. So hao wameamini ati hiyo pasta ndio inawapatia nguvu, so wanaiomba kila siku. So hizi ni vitu zingine zinafanyika hapa duniani, lakini mambo ya spiritualism na the way people worship, it's a bit it's a bit wanting what we believe in generally. But we leave it to God. We will be judged at the end of the day. I always tell people you'll be judged by your deeds, because there are so many religions in the world, and God will only ask you probably if you came across my word, and if you didn't come across my word, then I will judge you by your deeds. Kama ni kutenda, tenda wema bana, tenda wema, nenda zako. Na utafika mbinguni vizuri sana. Karibu sana Penny Nyagaka, na ulikuwa kwa comment section for a while. We have missed you, and you have been my elusive friend. I've been waiting for your contacts, lakini wapi? Penny, hii siasa ya Harris inakupeleka mbio sana. Kamala, Do you want us to be going back and forth in the talk? We don't want to go back. We are moving forward. We ain't going back.
Exactly.
Yeah, we ain't going back. We are moving forward. Yes. Sema.
I agree with you 100%. Na sisi wasidia leo ndio tunakunywa hiyo beans. I grew up, nilikufungua macho hivi nilijipata niko kwa SDA. Kwa hivyo hiyo yote I grew up in it, and then we used to go to church and spend the whole Saturday in the church. Sio baya, ni mzuri, lakini ni pole. Lakini Harris hapa Amerika, hii ya Harris ni mzuri sana, na hiyo mahali ametoa vice president. Hao ndio vice presidents wametoka wazuri sana. Kuna mmoja alikuwa na
Tell us about it.
Yeah, kuna mmoja alikuwa 65 to 69. I don't know. Yeah, 65 to 69. And they were supposed to be a president, but he passed on. And there is Walter Mondale, ambaye alikuwa vice president ya nani ya Jimmy Carter. Na huyu sasa, all of them are A1. You know, that's the history that we are trying to establish, especially in our country, Kenya. Na tunaona ni vita. Tunaanza vita tu ndio tu, you know, maandamano nini. That's not a history. We can make a history that is pure and reasonable. You know, hivyo mahali ametoa vice president ndio hata sikujua. Uliza huyo Alex Bundi ndiye anajua, hapo Minnesota ndio wako sasa, watoto wote wanakula lunch ya bure kwa shule. And he has done a lot of good things.
Mimi na
Kamala Harris,
unajua jameni, sisi wa Afrika tuna shida gani? what is our problem? Unaenda huko Eldoret unapata jamaa ametengeneza mastatue zinakaa kama bogibenda, zinakaa kama bogibenda huko Eldoret town.
Surely Mzalendo, what's the problem with us? What is the problem surely?
No,
Nini natusumbua? Umepatiwa kazi vizuri, mbona usifanye correctly?
Is it
Nini
enough?
natusumbua?
You know, I have been trying to analyze the African race. Yani, hata nikajaribu, I have dug even into the Bible, niangalie mahali kuna jina ya Kiafrika tu, hata ya Kinigeria, nione mahali iko pale kwa Biblia. Yet unaona Penny Nyagaka hapa ametoka kanisa ya SDA, anasoma kitabu ya Biblia, hata hakuna jina ya Mwafrika hata moja. Lakini he believes that is the word, and it is inspired by God. There is just something absolutely wrong with the African race, and God created us by design. And this is why I'm saying God created us by design, meaning that in the whole world, God created an African to be somebody who is so stubborn, somebody who does not even know what leadership entails. He does not even have direction. But at some junctions, he wants the African to suffer to an extent, so that he realizes his mistakes, then rectifies this kind of people. Because huyu ni mtu anakula pesa ya msaada. Anapatiwa pesa ya msaada na mzungu, anaenda nakula, anajenga nyumba kubwa, anakuwa na tumbo kubwa kama hii yangu, anakusema yeye sasa ni tajiri. Unaona haya, ukienda huko kwa county unaona kama we are now handling a case in but it's before court, siwezi anza kuongea na juu yake sana. One of the counties, jamaa hawana hata ambulance hata moja. People are dying na wana hata ambulance moja, na each and every time anapatiwa bilioni 10 every year from the national government. Kidogo unaona ameweka ripota, anawaonyesha ripota nyumba yake vile anakaa. Mwingine ameongeza bibi, ameongeza tena sijui watatu. Can that be tolerated in Europe anywhere? Yani ati kiongozi anatoka anasema unajua mimi mlinipatia kazi, sasa mi naona hata niongeze bibi yangu wanne, because you have given me a job. Now back in my village in Siaya, they are celebrating one Wandaye ati amepatiwa Ministry of Energy. The people are lining up in the road, wana line up on a busy day kungojea mtu wa bendera aende hapo, like they have seen a small god who is going to come and solve the problems in the whole of Luo Nyanza in the name of a cabinet secretary. Na hata hiyo mshahara yake hata gawia residents wake ama hata jirani wake. So we have a problem. We have a very, very big problem, and we need to look at ourselves deeply as Africans and see where ni nini mbaya na sisi. Ni nini mbaya na sisi kabisa.
Mzalendo. Hakuna, there is nothing wrong with us except that we are our culture was really disturbed, and we were very kind to the Europeans, and then we let them rape us, and sell our people, and do all this stuff, and we are working our way back. Sasa ukiona, say for example in Germany, when Hitler was killing people and putting them in a freezer, these people were suffering the same way. Kila mtu, kila watu ya historia, ukienda Russia, the Russian Revolution, ukienda kila mahali walikuwa wanafanya vitu mbaya sana.
So Penny, you are right about all these revolutions. European, ukienda Spain conquered the Philippines and ruled over them. British conquered Kenya and ruled over them. America hapa walikuwa under the British rule, si ndio? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
They were under the British rule. They came out of it. Within Africa, you are still stuck. You are the only, as if you are the only people who are colonized. Were you the only people who are colonized in the world? That was a time in history that each and every country passed by. You know, we were all colonized by Mzungu colonizing a Mzungu, an African being colonized by other Africans. There are countries in Africa that were never colonized. Are they developed?
No, but you have to have a good example next door. Alafu uone vile wameendelea. Now you have the same thing. The countries in Africa that were never really colonized were like Egypt. You see what now they have this dictator about and kill people kila wakati. Another place was Ethiopia. About you have a coup d'etat. Yes. Is it a sad situation as you say right now, Mzalendo? It is very true. But we will have to look at the cleaner spots, say, for example, Rwanda, except that the guy is a really dictator, but he has brought down the anti-corruption. Back in about 2-3 years, it was zero. And then he even put his brother in jail or something. But those are the good examples that we can follow. He is coming to Kenya and getting all the Kenyan young people to go work in Rwanda. So that in America, after Second World War, it helped Europe, and Europe became what it was. After Hitler alikuwa anakula watu. You know, every country has a very sad story. Na yetu ni kuona ya kwamba vile Mzalendo you are pointing out, how can we solve our own problems, especially the one you have said that is a county that don't even have an ambulance. Yes, we have sad stories like that, but do we stay there? No. Like you said when we began, hatuendi nyuma, tunaenda mbele. Let us look forward to taking people like Harris or huyu Tim Wentz nyumbani, alafu watasaidia na hii na ile, and we'll get to where we are going. Yetu unasema ni kweli kabisa. I cannot argue with that. We have a very, very sad story ya kusema. But it was because, like I said, our culture was very much disturbed. Na hatukuendelea from where we were. Were we wrong? Was our gods wrong? That we can. I mean, I cannot judge because judgment is by God. Hiyo ndio wanasema kwa isidia kanisa yao. Yeah. You're muted, Mzalendo.
Sorry. Now, when you look at the way Africans specifically are doing their stuff, and Africans who are given the opportunity to study in Europe and other parts of the world, they really excelled. Those who came as slaves here in the US, you can look at how they were segregated and the difficulties that they had. And that is why when you see a black man in the US, if they tell you their story, it is sad. Nakwambia, it is sad. I work with one guy who is, I will not mention his name, but this guy is in his 70s. He told me that, Nick, my mother was a white. My father my father was black from the Caribbean, and my mother was white. And the mother used to work in a restaurant when they were growing up. That is in the 70s, thereabout. And they could not go into that particular restaurant and they are kids of mixed race, yeah? Ni mzungu na Mwafrika. They could not enter that particular restaurant to be served by the mother. The dad would go in. The dad would go in because the dad was white, the mother was black. The dad could go in and they would be served to bring the food outside for the kids. Yani hao watoto ni wa Marekani wamezaliwa huku, but they could not be allowed into the restaurant. Now I saw another image of a clip, somebody studying for exams. Jamaa Mwafrika amesegregetiwa kabisa, yeye wako kwa exam room, yeye amekalishwa kwa kona, hata haoni mwalimu, hata mwalimu amuulizi, hata mwalimu hata muulizage maswali. But they managed under all those circumstances to study and excel in various fields as black people in the US. Now our problem sisi sasa sisi hii nyule ngumu hii tuko hapa Kenya, ile we are looking at your community. You go back in the village there, in some areas people are still going to the bush to using the bush as toilets, as a bathroom. Yeah, and it is sad in this century. If you look at the schools, they don't even have blackboard. They don't even have jiggers. We are now talking about Eldoret City, where Captain comes from. You look at the kind of cities that we need to have in Kenya, whether they are really fit to be cities. Do they have the infrastructure development? Do they have enough ambulances in that particular city? Do they have enough industries to push their status into cities? Now, the business community, what has increased in the business community other than just the population? Yeah. Are there some factories that is happening in Eldoret? Then that is why we look at the African race, and in terms of leadership, then we have got something that is wanting. If we have not integrated well with the white people, then we will not have good leaders. And a good example is the country like Botswana. Botswana got its independence the other day. Look at the development and the pace of development in Botswana. Look at South Africa. South Africa came under apartheid rule just the other day. Look at the infrastructure development and what the Mzungu is doing in South Africa when they are integrated together. That is why I say fighting for independence sometimes, to me, I think it was a sham. It is something that we should have negotiated with the white man. Hey, wacha tuishi pamoja tusaidiane, because you have this, we have the energy. Wacha tusaidiane tukae pamoja. We will have elections, ukishinda ni sawa, but you can occupy our land. At the same time, you can also give us other parcels of land to till. That way, I think things would have been very, very different.
Muzarendo,
Yes.
that's what you could call wishful thinking. There was nobody that you could put that solution to. Now wasikie wabeberu walikuwa wabeberu na Mwafrika was under them. Hiyo ndio walikuwa wanataka tu, hawakutaka kujua kwamba sisi tuna shamba amna nini mna hii mna ile. Lakini tukuje kwa America mali ulianzia, the devastation that was done to the black people of America will continue for maybe another 50 years, because hata hao ambao wamekuwa leadership positions, wazazi wao kama Obama hawakuwa anatoka hapa. Kamala Harris baba yake alitoka na mama walitoka nje ya this country, lakini the damage ambayo ilifanywa wa Afrika, waliachiwa tu siku moja Sunday, na ndio wanaenda kanisa sana sana sana. Mzalendo, vile nimekuambia, mimi I grew up here in America now. So when I am with my boys and we are talking, ndio wakaniambia. So wakati mmoja nilikuwa na criticize kanisa sana. Wanasema mmoja was close to me, akanichukua aside akaniambia, wewe, you have a culture, you have this, you have that. Sisi, all we know is church. We were told that you are free on Saturday, Sunday, and you go to church on Sunday forever. So the devastation that was done to them is beyond belief. Na hiyo ndio tutaona vile Afrika yetu tutafanya. Vile umesema Botswana, South Africa, hizo nchi ni mzuri sana. Sasa Rwanda imemaliza was there in March, na corruption ambayo haiko kabisa. Ukifika tu Kenya hivi ukisimamishwa njiani, wale askari wanataka pesa. Ukienda anywhere kwa chief, anything you sign ni pesa tu wanataka. So we are far way to go, but we are going the right direction. There was no white man that was going to compromise with us in the 60s. Now, I hope you know the history of Nani Samoe ambaye alikuwa chief wa Nandi. They had negotiated with him so that they don't take all the lands in Nandi. When a different government came in England, the ambassador that was sent in Kenya was arrested, and they just shot him between his eyes and killed him. Who is Samoe? You know, I know if you don't know, you read the history of that part. And that's the people you are saying that we could have negotiated. He negotiated with these people, but they ended up killing him and taking his head back to England. But they made sure that they sent the head to England. The guy who was giving the British a hard time na negotiate mpaka wazungu wakubaliana na yeye amefariki na kichwa yake ndio hii. So there is no way. We are in the right place. Let us continue to argue our politics the way we have been doing. Let us really City ya Eldoret au bashemeji yangu hiyo Eldoret Mumingala. Sasa kama wamepewa kitu bila kwenda huko kwa Msareti niende kura Borsiki kidogo, lakini kama wamepewa Salendo.
Yes, endelea na hii. Tulikuwa kwa hii topic ya Eldoret na ukatuambia
mzee anakaa bunua sana huyu, asiende mahali asikuja hapa kwa sababu sasa sisi ni shemeji yake, ati tuone maovu inaendelea Eldoret, tusiongee. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo penya kaka, wacha nikwambie. Eldoret, let me tell you, Eldoret does even not qualify to be a municipal city. As you have even put it to be a city, it is not even qualifying to be a municipal city.
Wewe kwa nini unasema hivyo? Why do you say that?
Where are the street lights in Zalendo? Where are the street lights?
Hakuna street lights right now. Hakuna street lights.
No, listen. Uko na rafiki yako anafanya Eldoret, sasa umpigie simu apige, atoke nje apige picha sasa.
Wewe jamaa,
kabisa penye yako
watching Africa from Eldoret. Hebu tafadhali ingieni hapa.
Where are they? Today they are not here. Where are they?
Wanaogopa kuja.
Wanaogopa kuja kwa sababu hata internet wamefungiwa, hawana internet na ni city.
Nani amewafungia?
Haya, wako wapi?
Wewe hebu sema ati wamefungiwa internet.
Hata mmoja wao ndio ananipigia, hebu acha nichukue simu yake kwanza.
Unaona huyu jamaa bwana anachukia kwao sana
Lakini hiyo ndio tunaendelea. You can't stay down forever. Hivyo kama amepromote kuwa city, na kama huyu Kipu anasema hii wanataka street light, ndio itapatikana pesa kidogo waweke na waendelee mbele. Hatuendi nyumba. Eldoret ni city.
Yenyewe. That is so interesting. Kusikia.
Nina mimi mwingine hapo ni hata sijamuuliza nipigie picha ya hiyo town nionyeshe. Mjumbe wake
Unajua hiyo Eldoret I think it has a potential. Mimi sioni ubaya yake kuwa city. I think it has got a potential of being a very big city if it is directed properly by the leadership. So ikikuwa city, definitely there will be a lot of benefit. Eldoret huku kuna farms, they are very big farms. If you go to Eldoret bwana, you drive, unaona mashamba za ngano, ni mashamba za mahindi, ngano kule Eldoret, na ni mashamba kubwa and they get some good revenue. And me, I'm impressed by the farmers in Eldoret because most of the time serikali ikiwapatia bad fertilizer, they come out and say that, despite you guys, despite one of our own being in government, wanatuuzia fertilizer mbaya. Uliona ule mzee alikuwa anasema hey, walikula watakula, unaona. These are people who are very liberal. That is one thing I admire them for, that if they are pissed off, they are pissed off completely. I remember how they were pissed off with the late Daniel Arap Moi during his last tenure. And they really voted him out. They didn't want anything to do with the late president. And even recently, when the Gen Zs were conducting their demonstrations, they really showed that they were pissed off with the government of the day. And I think that is very important to note that, even in the president's backyard, people can resist and revolt and demonstrate against a sitting president from your village, and forget about tribalism. And that is the only time sisi wote tunakuwa wazalendo. Ulionaje bwana Penny Nyagaka?
hiyo mzalendo, that's what you hit on the nail on the head kabisa. Hiyo ni kweli, because watu yetu hawezi ku revolt against Raila. Huko the mountain, huyo mountain hawezi ku revolt against any Kikuyu leader, lakini hawa Kale wana revolt. Hiyo ndio, you said it right. And
you
we
see,
need
there are some communities that have been studying and the way they behave in terms of politics. Number one, the community that leads in democracy and politics is the Kisii community. Number one. Let me tell you, number one, Kisii, a leader, if he's not performing, you will not be in parliament the next term. Do
no.
you know why? Do you really know why, Penny Nyagaka? You come from there. Do you know why?
We think independently.
No, yeah, you think independently. That is an ambiguous answer. But do you know the real situation why Kisii people are not controlled by the politics of the day? Now, let me give you the answer, because I've talked to residents of Kisii and they told me, Mzalendo, sisi kama Wakisii hapa kwetu, unaona, huyu mjumbe asipofanya kazi, hata kama ni MCA, asipotengeneza pia hii barabara, tunasimamisha yeye, alafu tunafanya hivi, next time aingii bunge, aingii kabisa, kwa sababu tutaonyesha yeye hii barabara ulisema utatengeneza, umetengeneza? Hapana, akakia tukupatii kura. Umetengeneza. Now they will vote for the next person because this one failed. They will not look at the politics. They will look at the development of the of the region. Unlike where I come from, where Baba is law, Baba is everything, Baba is... But ukiangalia maendeleo ile iko huko is zero. Yani they are languishing, and we are languishing in poverty. No infrastructure development, but we politic more than any other community. That is why, we politic more than any community. We politic a lot, but very little development. We have got an opinion over almost every particular aspect of anything that is happening in society. But I am glad that there are a few leaders nowadays in Luo Nyanza who are trying to bring some development. because development has never been a standard measure for a very long time. The only thing that has been a standard measure for you to get into a political seat is how well you are inclined to the ODM party and Raila Odinga. That is what has been a standard measure for most of those leaders. That is why you see in Luo, Nyanza, most of the leaders are the same. They have been there for decades. They've been there for over a decade. You cannot replace them. They have been there for over a decade, and they do nothing. And you can never ever replace them. You can never replace them because these have become a family. They are the family of Raila Odinga. You can never try and kick them out of those particular positions. Some of them, it's like they will be like the judges in the Supreme Court. Mpaka siku ile watakufa ndio watatolewa kwa kiti. So it is that, and then the locals have also been brainwashed to think that there is a canon that Raila is always bringing. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. Look at the situation of the politics right now. Penny, I've not seen you to discuss this cocktail government that is happening, the confusion in parliament, where we have minority working in with the government, majority also implementing government policy. We tried to analyze the kind of government that we have. Then the argument that they are bringing is that this will be a very good government. For government to pass its agenda, it will be a very, very good government. But for government to be accountable and transparent, then there's no watchdog in parliament that can account for the government of William Ruto. Penny, you are a UDA supporter and you've been there for a very long time. I took a back step a bit to see what William Ruto is doing, to see him in a different kind of angle. Probably he will try and make changes in his leadership style. What do you make of all these arrangements?
Okay, weza nianzie hii unipea ijibu ukizungumza tena. Like I've always told you, I grew up during Oginga Odinga's time. Na kwa shule yetu mzee alileta ambassadors wote wa Luoland. Walikuwa wanatua mashule kila siku, shule 3 shule 4. And it was a unifying factor. But to see what Raila has done, which is doubly unite the Luos, and like his father, who was really, his father talked like the oldest brother of Raila. He was a man of few words. Alikuwa anasema tu wacha wa Kenya wajue ni nani atakuwa president yao. Yani he was challenging Kenyatta for elections. And the next day, you know, Mzee Oginga Odinga is in the house arrest, Majela. You know, just for saying that word. So, yangu kwako mzalendo ni swali ya kwanza. Who do you think will ever unite the Luos except like what I've seen Raila Odinga do? And that always will tell us how long will it be before you see a Luo president. Lakini hiyo ya mwisho, hiyo uliuliza directly, it is a completely useless and nonsense kwa hii serikali ambao wametengeneza sasa. I mean, if they are using kama say for example Germany, kama sembe Japan, hii watu wameshindwa twice since World War II, the Liberal Democrats. Hiyo countries in democracy, lakini wana one large party ndio ina rule that country for a long time. Na hii yetu, it is completely useless because the money is divided, the party's money, it is given to the parliament, then it is given to the people that are working for that government. None. So some of us, when we supported Ruto, we thought that he was going to stand firm and say that he wanted the opposition to be opposition. But now he married the opposition and brought it to this side, to his side. There is nowhere. The corruption being that high, then it means that he bottom up economics yake haitafanya kazi kwa sababu the corruption being that high could never work. Bottom up ni kama countries ya Asia, Eastern Asia countries ambao wamefanya bottom up economics mzuri sana. The people who started the bottom up economics are the same characters who started the IMF and the World Bank, and it was from Britain. So that right now we are totally failing. If we are going to develop a democracy, ODA and ODM come together, somebody has to challenge them to get a better nation. Somebody has to challenge them. But Ruto knew this. All these problems should go to Ruto, not even Raila. Raila has done this from 97. He gets defeated, anaanza fujo kidogo, analetwa kwa serikali, anakula. But when Ruto said it very clearly to some of us, our ears, and we accepted it, we didn't know that he was going to marry this guy, na amlete na chafu yote yake, aingie hapa, alafu wafanye vile wanataka. Any country that doesn't have an opposition, my friend, it's not a democracy, it's a dictatorship. And that's what we are doing right now in Kenya. We are developing a dictatorship. About at least for 3 years, it's a dictatorship. There's nobody who will challenge these guys. Hiyo generation imeenda mahali imeenda. Na huyu Raila uliona leo, he was in the Rift Valley. So, and ukienda huko kwenu, everybody is anasema UDA mzuri. So there is no opposition. There is no opposition at all.
They've already made the about turn.
Yeah. Unajua mwalimu mwingine alikuwa Mkenya. Mwalimu yangu kitambo sana alikuwa anaitwa Mkenya. Alikuwa anasema his father was a sub chief of Ugenya.
Yeah. Alikuwa anaitwa Ugenya.
Anaitwa Mkenya.
Mkenya.
Hiyo ndio jina kabisa. Yeah, lakini mimi
sikia hii jamaa
sema harambee kubwa, alafu wale wanajifuna watetemeke. Harambee! 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 Basi wananchi, mimi nafurahiwa sana nikiwa hapa kwa maana ya kufungua hospitali hii. Kama mjuavyo, hospitali hii ni msaada kutoka kwa marafiki wetu wa Russia. Nao walitusaidisha kuwa na hospitali hii, na kwa vile ilijengwa siku nyingi zilizopita, hatukuweza kuifungua hapo mbeleni kwa yale mambo hii na ile yaliyokuwako. Walakini sasa tumeona ni heri tuifungue hospitali yenyewe iwe ya kutumiwa na wananchi. Na sasa, kabla sijafungua hii hospitali, mimi nataka kusema maneno machache. Na mimi naanza kwa msemo wa Kiswahili usemavyo kwamba asante ya punda ni mateke. Asante ya punda ni mateke. Sisi tunakuja hapa kuwaletea bahati, kuwaletea hospitali ambayo ni ya kutibu wananchi, na kuna vinyangareka wa KPU wanasuputu kuja hapa na kusema maneno machafu. Mimi nafurahiwa sana kuona rafiki yangu Odinga ambaye mwongozi wa hawa watu yuko hapa. Na mimi ningesema kama si heshima ya urafiki wetu na wewe Odinga, mimi ningesema utie nguvuni leo. Waangalie ni nani anatawala nchi hii, kama ni KANU au ni vinyangarika wengine wanatawala nchi hii. Lakini mimi nasema kwamba kama hawa watu wako wachafu, kama wakitoa nyokonyoko, sisi tutawaonyesha kwamba Kenya iko na serikali yake. Hatuwezi kuchezewa sisi. Na wewe bwana Odinga mwenyewe unajua mimi sina mateso. Nimekuacha siku nyingi kwa sababu wewe ni rafiki yangu. Kama si hivyo, wewe najua mimi ningefanya nini. Hapana kazi yako kuniambia nitupe wapi. Mimi najua mwenyewe. Labda wewe usemao naweza kutupa wewe ndani ya manyani kuliko rafiki yangu. Kwa hivyo mimi nasema hivi, ndugu zanguni, ni lazima tujue kwamba hii ni nchi ya Kenya ambayo inajitawala yenyewe, ambayo ina madaraka ya wananchi, na hatuwezi kukubali hata kidogo mtu au vikundi vya watu kutuchezea. Kama Odinga juavyo wewe, tulikuwa na wewe pale, mimi nikwambia kwamba mimi nitaangusha Ngereza. Nilisema hivyo sikusema, kasema tutawaangusha. Itakuwaji vinyangarika hapa na waweka kidogo dudu kuja kucheza na serikali hapa. Na kwa hivyo leo mimi nasema kwa ukali sana, na nikikuangalia wewe kabisa, nikikwambia maneno ya kweli mbele ya watu hawa wote, wakanye hawa watu wako, kama sivyo tawa na cha mtema kuni. Na mimi sina mateso hata kidogo. Kwa hivyo ndugu zanguni, sisi tunataka usalama katika nchi yetu. Sisi tunataka maendeleo katika nchi yetu. Sisi tunapigana na ukabila. Sisi tunapigana na ukabila kabisa. Na yeyote atakaye
Haya, Penny.
Yes.
Wewe rafiki yako alikuwa akitumia
wewe ni umeniletea ile. Sasa I grew up.
Yeah, that is what you grew up listening to each and every day.
Lakini unajua hiyo the Russian hospital Raila Kenyatta friends kina nani au wengine wote ambao walikuwa close to Kenyatta walikuwa he didn't know about it. Hakujua. Aliambiwa baadaye they wanted to bring it from the ground where bomb. Mzee akakataa akasema wacha.
Nani who wanted to bomb it?
The people that were around Mzee.
Oh.
People who killed Tom Boyer and all those. They wanted to bring it out of the ground.
No,
kila penyusu walifanya CID wakajua ilikuwa gift ya Russia. Unajua Russia ilikuwa na support Mzee sana Odinga. Sasa they wanted to bring it out of the ground, lakini Mzee akakataa. Akasema wacha tu iendelee. So nani Mzee Odinga was embarrassed. So he agreed for the Mzee to come and open the hospital. Now, and in that opening, hiyo speech, watu wengi sana Wajaluo walikuwa wengi. That's one of the reasons that I never liked him. He could have known what happened really. Kwa sababu Wajaluo wengi sana waliuawa at that time. Kenyatta sent 3 battalions with plain clothes a day before. So when he was giving that speech, they tried to throw him cooked eggs. Na akajeyo askari yake kachapa watu baya sana. There were a lot of people were killed. That was a fact.
Hmm?
That I never ever even mentioned anything of that nature.
Wow. Anyway, that's a piece of our history that is eluded there, and I think that there's a day I tried to put the picture of Jaramogi of Kenyatta. I wanted to see people's reaction on my Facebook page. Bwana,
Yeah.
nilitukanwa bwana. Ay, 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 ay.
Hiyo ndio persona non grata.
Kenyatta and I think in equal measure
Hiyo
that is the way.
ndio baya sana.
Yeah,
Hata walikuheshimu.
sasa unaona that informed me that these people are never going to get over it. They
Hiyo
are
mzee
never going.
alifanya baya sana.
They reminded me of how Kenyatta killed our people.
Yeah. Yeah. He killed a lot of people.
They killed a lot of people. So even going back, unaona, these our leaders should be informed with such stories that they are writing their books. William Ruto is writing his political book right now. It's being written, and in one of the chapters there will be the chapter for Gen Zs, how they came up with the revolution and all that. How both consecutive governments of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were killing young people. I mean, this is something that is happening. I feel Penny, your president has not addressed this particular issue of these policemen who have been killing or masquerading as as police officers and abducting young people. This thing needs to stop. It needs to stop at some point. Mhm. Or what do you feel about it?
No, that's true, especially that lady hawako sijui alikuwa abducted, sijui hata atapatikana mpaka wa leo. That's very bad. Hiyo
Oh,
serikali ya
huyo msichana hajaonekana hawako.
no,
Huh?
nobody
You
knows
mean
where she is.
what? What is an? Oh, I have not seen. I thought that she was being interrogated. What is called Mildred
No, polisi
Aoko.
wanakataa kumchukua. So maybe kama wamemchukua ni ile private police.
Hmm?
Na my friend, when I keep telling you mzalendo ati tunaanza dictatorship, that's one side of dictatorship.
Hmm?
Na huyu nani Ruto is really a dictator sasa.
But you mean I'm trying to dig into this news here, Mildred. She's called Mildred Aoko or Mildred who?
Yeah, leader hapo. Yeah.
It's called Mildred Aoko.
The last thing alikuwa amecriticize Raila sana.
Huh?
Alikuwa amecriticize Raila sana the last week. Alitukana Raila sana. Azemba is a conman of the first order.
And what I'm gathering right now, Mildred Aoko. It's called Mildred Aoko. I hope I'm getting the right name right. Aoko. This is absolutely serious. Oh, she's called Maverick Aoko. She's called Maverick Aoko. She's called Maverick. She's not called Mildred. She's called Maverick. Maverick Aoko. Let me try and trace Maverick Aoko. You know. Oh mama pia yeye ni hatari. Let's see what she did. Let's see what she did that triggered the establishment to look for her. I think she. What did she really do that warrant? I thought I saw an image of her at CID headquarters recording a statement, but she has become so big that you cannot abduct and kill her. That's another thing. She's become a very big figure.
Yeah.
Hebu sikia huyu mama, ngoja. I got what you were saying about last week. Sijui alisema nini juu ya baba.
Government, the most corrupt man that we know in this regime. Enter the criminals that are forwarded by ODM. Faggots, gay men, drug barons, sex pests, and thieves. Why is Joho in this government? Anon El Chapo. Who else? Why is Wandai? His ineptitude is legendary. In his constituency, literally, there's nothing you can account for. Why is someone like Oparanya, who was a governor for 2 terms, the only thing he's known for is being polygamous and collecting concubines like treasure? Why is Mbadi in this government? 3 terms. Suba looks like a jungle. There are no roads. 3 terms. The people who are Raila's blue-eyed boys, who are part of what is ailing Luo Nyanza and ODM. A man who is known for using his position to bait young women for his sexual satisfaction. Yet he's a married man. An old fool who is known for nothing other than taking advantage of young women using his position. Why are these people who are unscrupulous, who are incompetent, who are devoid of meritocracy back in this?
Hey, okay, this is what brought that. This is part of Aoko's trouble, eh? Maverick Aoko.
Yeah.
I think personally, there's what we call freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and yes, if these people felt that she's doing the wrong thing, then they should just take the matter to the police, arrest her, and she'll have a day in court to defend herself. That is what the law says, yeah. But now she's still missing, and no media house is reporting that Aoko is still missing. Maverick Aoko.
Timu yetu ya basketball hapa ndio inaitwa Maverick. Mpaka nikaona hiyo Kenya. Timu yetu ya mpira hapa inaitwa Maverick College. Yeah. Lakini what they have done, what the Raila and Ruto have done is change Kenya to a one-party state. That how can anybody say that Raila fought for democracy when he's inviting to change it into a dictatorship? How? To some of us, hiyo ndio inatusumbua au kina Kiburir wakikuja watueleze. Huyu Raila, if you say Raila is fighting for democracy, how can he be any country that has 30% or 80% in one party? That's a dictatorship. And vile nilikuambia mzalendo, countries that have the democracy kwa sheria zao ni kama South Korea, Japan. One party wins all the time, lakini they you can see what they have done. you know, sio kama huko kwetu nyumbani.
No, this lady called Maverick Aoko, she's done a lot of activism. She has taken most of Gypsy Corner is saying, Gypsy, thank you for being there. You're now informing us that she will be bailed on Monday. The police know where she is. I know she has become very big. You cannot kill Maverick at this particular moment. It will be known that the government is the one that actually killed her. She's become very, very big, and I'm sure she'll be
kama show yako huyu ndio mtu tunataka utafute ulete.
Maverick.
Yeah. Ukiwa hapa America, you have more leeway. You have more to even direct anybody in Kenya.
Yeah, I'll make sure that we bring Maverick. I almost brought her sometimes last week, but I missed her by she was engaged in another media. So I will ensure that Maverick, wherever you are listening to, fans wako hapa kibao. She's becoming very, very popular, very vocal. She has got
that's the people that we want that can really grow up from what she was, and she doesn't follow Raila Odinga vile anasema that's why she follow. No, you have your own mind. Kila mtu ana bongo yake.
I told people, that's the independence of the mind. Unaona hiyo kujaribu kujaribu kukuwa independent inasumbua people like Babu Owino. They are not independent in their thought. They really want to come out of the party and exercise their democratic right, but they can't.
Yeah.
They can't. Ukiona they are holding press conferences that are trying to give a direction to nothing. I told, if you are rebelling against the political party, toka nje useme mimi nimetoka ODM nataka kukua a man of my own. Criticize. You cannot be in ODM.
Hiyo Babu Owino hawezi kutoka kwa Raila kwa sababu
you cannot be in ODM and criticize UDA. You can't.
He cannot leave ODM because hiyo ndio party ambayo alimsaidia when he was killing that DJ. And he should really be in jail right now.
No, you cannot be in ODM at the same time, Sahi, and then you criticize the government of William Ruto. They are one and the same. Serikali moja.
Exactly. Now you're talking. They are one and the same.
Yeah, they're one and the same. And what Baba has done, personally, I feel that he has decided that he's not handing over the party to any other leader other than William Samoei Ruto. Technically, he has handed over the ODM party to William Samoei Ruto. And that is what I'm saying. Hiyo party ilishapeanwa na in 2027 they are just going to vote for Ruto. Hakuna, they are not escaping. Ruto used the oldest trick in the book. Bring your enemy closer. Make sure you give them what they want, and they fight for you the battle. So if the finance bill is rejected in Parliament, it is Raila Odinga's people who are going to be blamed. If money is stolen in the energy sector, it is Baba's people who are going to be blamed. If hii mambo ya Westman is not working, then it is Baba's people who are controlling it. Hii jamaa aliwapanga hawa watu bana. Walipangwa wakapangika.
Hapo ni kweli mzalendo. Hii walipangwa. Hata siku nyingine kwa leo kwa show yako sikujagi sana kwa sababu Nishawaambia na wengine wanakasirika na mimi sana, na nishawaambia there is nothing you guys can do. Hii tumeona hii democracy, tumeona hiyo ya Moi, tumeona hiyo ya Mzee Kenyatta. This is the same thing. Why could we see the same thing and really try to say that we are doing something else? Apana, it's the same thing we are doing.
We are basically just doing the same thing. And I think that is
exactly
that is the reality. Anyway,
nikiangalia kwa show kama hizi zingine, these guys are getting mad. Yani wanasikiza mbaya sana juu ya watu kama mimi kuambia that there's nothing you are doing. Na sasa kama hii Gen Z nilikuambia Mzalendo, nilikuambia kama hao Gen Z, you remember, I told you they are not going anywhere. They have no leader. We saw this when I was college in '79, is when the Iranian Revolution overthrew the Shah of Iran. No, all the students were in Kayamu, and the younger and older were talking. We were helping them in the social sciences, and they were helping us in science and math. So the next week, the police were men. They all left. After that revolution in Iran, nearly all those guys were killed. That overthrew the government of the Shah.
Yeah, that's Osam, you're saying that the next president will come from either Nyanza or Western. Nyanza bado tuko mbali sana. This is a political direction where we are headed. Nyanza iko mbali, Western wako karibu.
Nyanza ule alikuwa hapo ni Raila na Mzee Chai. That's it.
Nyanza wako mbali sana. Siasa ya Kenya ni numbers. The numbers right now are in favor of the Luya community. If they can get their acts together, they can produce a president. And listen also on the comment section. If there are two big voting blocks in Kenya, that is the Kikuyu community and the Kalenjin community. If they split, if by any time they will split, that Mkikuyu ameenda pande yake, Mkalenjin ameenda pande yake, and the Kikuyu community managed to convince the people of Western region, and the Kalenjin community convinced the people of Nyanza. This is how the politics play. Most likely. Yes. Most likely.
Go ahead.
I am saying if we go for elections and we have this regional block splitting, the Kalenjin and the Kikuyus, which I'm foreseeing that maybe that will happen, according to many people who are alluding that Ruto is now looking for other alliances, which I don't think is true. Ruto is just finishing multi-party democracy in a way that he will have control of almost all the regions. Now, the new biggest voting bloc that is emerging is the people of Western. If Western can have their act together, then any other alliance that will merge with Western Kenya will definitely grab the presidency. Any other alliance that will merge with the Western, the Luyas, and they consolidate their vote. Don't tell me it is impossible. There are some things that are possible right now. With the Tawe movement, everything people in Western are seeing as a possibility. And Mudavadi is not the likely candidate for the presidency. What Western are looking at are people like the Natemea. What any other alliance will be looking at is somebody like Natemea, a new alliance. If the Kikuyu community can swallow their pride in 2027, if this war between William Ruto continues, then their best bet for the presidency in 2032 would be to support the Western region in 2027, so that Ruto remains with with the Nyanza allies, and they cannot beat this other voting bloc. That is the reality of the politics, including tribalism. Then there is also the Gen Z factor that will come in politics. They will be voting for the first time. They have realized their potential. Even where we are at the moment, that is the only factor in politics. If you cannot be on the social platform with this young generation, then you don't have any command in 2027. So this Gen Z factor, where they will swing among the two ethnic blocks, those are the people who are going to form government. Eli, do you have anything to say before I welcome Eli?
Hello?
Yes, karibu.
Mimi nasema
Eli.
Oh.
Eli,
Asante,
you can go first.
Wacha Penny aongee kwanza.
Okay, Penny, please. Kwa ile heshima.
Thank you very much. Tunaonana mabei very soon. Yangu ni inaripiti ya kwamba hata me and you divide on this one. Ati Natembea na Gachagua, they will win the elections in 2027 or 2032. My friend, there is no way, Uzalendo, there is no way Ruto is leaving Gachagua. There is no way Gachagua is leaving Ruto. Nothing is guaranteed on the other side. Hiyo ingine yote ni speculation. We can speculate all we want, lakini ile tunajua ni kwamba kama huko kwenu muna mtu mmoja, huko Rift Valley, those people are very different. Wanakataza Ruto when they want in the mountain, it is the same thing, it's even worse. Lakini huyu Gachagua ndio anawaleta pamoja kidogo, and they are proven they can be fought together. Lakini mzalendo yangu ni kukuchipu ya kwamba please, the vote of the Western, don't count on it. It can be divided anytime, anyhow, anyway. Natembea alianza mzuri sana, but who did he attack? He's a homeboy. Have you ever seen Raila going to Nyanza to attack anybody? No. You don't get help. You don't get mtu wanakusaidia. Alafu they are the people you attack to begin with. Ule mtu aliataki kitambo sana ni baba yake, na hiyo tapes ziko mtazipata mkitaka, lakini it was a family issue. But when anywhere in Nyanza, Raila has not gone anywhere to attack anybody to bring them down. Natembea hiyo ndiye alianzia na ukina Watengura, kuna nani na huyu nani Mudavadi, ndio nilikwambia nani, sisi tukiwa hapa nje tuna lot of poor. Unajua mimi nimeenda nimepigwa picha na ma DVD, lakini kufika nyumbani hiyo simu alinipatia ashiki. Mimi nacheka tu. So the Luyas, for example, sisi Wakisi, we are more united and more clear than the Luyas, and they are the #1 tribe in Kenya or #2. Nimemaliza. Ngoja kijana yangu ili asumuze hapa.
Eli, welcome. Long time. Welcome back.
Long time.
Prodigal son of Africa.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Zalendo and Penny. Penny, huko kwenu nilienda nikanunua miwa bwana juzi.
Hiyo sawa sana, ulisaidia.
Penny.
Hiyo sawa sana.
Kama unataka nikupe. Ndio hii. Hata unaweza kuona.
Wewe
ulinunua miwa Keumbo ama ulinunua miwa wapi? Keroka.
Ziko nyingi hapa nilinunua. Yaani
mimi niko karibu Kisii town. Sio Keroka.
Lakini nilinunua kitutu chache.
Hapo ni kitutu chache. That's basi.
Hapo Nyakoe. Hapo Nyakoe.
Yeah, you are good. When you are in Kenya next time, let me know.
Yeah. Are you near Nyakoe?
Oh yeah, Nyakoe ni Wanjari. Karibu na Asumbi,
Yeah, so,
karibu na Umabei. Ukienda hapo unaenda Umabei. Mzee wangu alikuwa anafanya kazi Umabei. So we used to come and pass through Nyakoe and then Asumbi, then hiyo parapara inatoka Rongo. So I know the place very well.
Okay. So kuna rafiki yangu mwingine anatoka Zimbabwe aliniambia, wewe ukirudi kutoka Kenya niletee miwa. Nitakulipa hata sijui pesa ngapi. Mimi nikasema hapana, nitamsaidia tu. Sasa nilienda Mosocho hapo nikapita Nyakoe. Kununua miwa. Huyu bwana, huyu jamaa anaitwa Okongo. Hata siwezi msahau jamaa mzee ambaye aliniuzia hizo miwa. Akaniuliza, wewe mbona unajua Kikisii na mbona unajua hii area kabisa? Nikamwambia nilisoma huko Mosocho. Haya. Akasema, ulisoma Mosocho? Wacha nikupeleke kwa mwalimu Nyambasora, ule alikufundisha yule principal. But the guy took me to Nyambasora, who is now in his 80s.
Yeah.
The man who I last saw in the late 1980s, you know. So
right.
It was quite an emotional connect, you know, when I was in Kisii this time.
Man, that's good. That's good. Wacha nipatie dakika moja nikuambie historia yangu. Na mimi nilisomea huko Migori. Mwalimu alikuwa huko, alikuja kunipata na mama yangu 1980s. Huyu anaitwa Buya. So he kept looking at me. Ilikuwa Kisii Hotel. He kept looking at me like
Abuya.
Huh?
Abuya.
Yes, my uncle. Lakini tulikuwa na yeye na huyu mwalimu alikuwa ananiangalia. So when he finally came close, and nikajua ni Japoch. Tukacheka. So vile umesema hiyo ulianza kano tungo kaenda kwa hiyo mwalimu alikuwa ameretire. I mean, yeah, he was retired at that time. Lakini hiyo Japoch alikuwa mzuri.
Yeah.
Mimi ndio nilipatia hadithi mbaya.
Sasa mimi nilianza Mosocho hapo primary, nikavuka nikaenda Cardinal Lutunga tu hapo. So that's why I speak Kisii very well.
Utaenda nyumbani lini?
Bwana, nimetoka juzi bwana. Kwani unafikiri ninafanyia Elon Musk? Sina hiyo pesa ya kukuja kila saa.
How far do you stay from Germany?
Quite a distance, because I'm in the UK side of Northern Ireland. So to fly to Germany is yeah, it's a distance.
I'll have to look you up. Nina watoto wawili huko Germany. Mmoja anafanya kazi na Deutsche Bank na mwingine anafanya na military.
Okay.
So, lakini ukienda nyumbani uzatembea mzuri sana.
Kenyans at the time of second generations are well established in these countries. But yes, so thanks very much for that. It wasn't small talk, but that's an important conversation. I have not been available because I went home and I only came the other week. So that's why I've not been available on this platform. In fact, just before I arrived here to this platform, I was in Sound Candid, you know, your former sister platform. And there were interesting conversations there. It was quite encouraging to see that I think that they have a better style of presentation now than it was before, which is quite encouraging.
Why did you cut the short? Why did you cut the short, yes. Because what you do at the inanisikiza all the time, and when you try to teach them, they can't learn. Lakini wewe enda huko na ueleze vile you ran for congressman or councilman, ile yote unasema mimi nasikianga, and I know them, but these guys are not competent. These are the people that are ruling Kenya today, and they're not competent enough to understand what the reality is. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, what I wanted to reflect on in this conversation is, I think you put a topic there, Mzalendo, about Eldoret City, which, if you look at the latest census, was it in 2021 or 2019? I think the census is every 10 years, okay? Whichever way you look at it, whether it's 2021 or 2019, the population of Eldoret was still standing at around 400,000 people. And in the City Act of Kenyan laws, number one, the population has to be above 500,000 for it to be a credible city status, you know. So that's number one. Number two, no hard feelings for the people of Eldoret, but I really don't know what makes it have a city status, you know. I remember there was a crooked fellow called Awiti, the former governor of Homa Bay, who went to the UK to bring some investors who then purported to create something called the Homa Bay Agri City, you know, and that was a city that was supposed to be built with a choreography of farming, businesses and stuff like that, which never even took off the ground. The reason why I gave the example of Homa Bay is because Eldoret should really be an agri-urban area, or if you like, they could have argued that yes, this is an agri-city, but not in the way the status of that town is. I've been to Eldoret maybe 2 or 3 times, and I think that when you're making a city, there are so many things to consider, which Eldoret does not possess. And I think that it's a political gimmick. It is meant to, you know, silence the people of Eldoret who recently became more outward, especially the young people of Eldoret when they protested against the things that's happening in the environment and the disaster that we know of involves the former governor and the Finnish universities that were supposed to, you know, enlist the students, the parents, how much they lost and all that. So I think they're trying to reclaim the place of Eldoret from bad news, trying to cleanse it. And it's not really working because, so what if you make Eldoret a city? What is it now? I mean, okay, they've got an airport, and they used to have an arms factory that used to, you know, make, you know, military ordnance. I don't know if that still continues. That has been there since Moi's time. Of course, the agricultural background of the town, but even in terms of how much they collect in terms of taxes and things like that in order to exist, you know, as a powerful metropolis, I don't know. But the population is definitely something that must be considered, because with a population that is fudged, you know. Okay, 400,000 is not too far from 500,000, but in terms of the constitutional makeup of, you know, the law, I think that what they've done is just it's ridiculous. You know, there's more important things than trying to fudge Eldoret into a city. But we must celebrate the people of Eldoret because that's where most of the Kenyan athletes have come from, and most of them are police officers or people in defense, or most of them carry guns when people are protesting. This is a double-edged thing that is hard to understand, but then they are runners as well. But we must celebrate that town because it is the home ground of such phenomenal people. I would say that if it was to gain a city status, and most Kenyan towns anyway, they really need to do serious planning. Because take a small example of a place in Nairobi. Any urban district, any district of Nairobi. Look at Umoja or a place like Dandora or places like that. You see the unplanned story. And this is something I've even seen near my home district. Places like Rodi, if you go there, you see that commercial businesses that are being built without planning, proper planning. And so there's nothing that is exciting about the planning of Eldoret that makes it a plausible city. But for me, someone might think, an Eldoret person might think, this is all talk. You're against our city because you're from Nyanza or so on and so forth. You're profiling us. But we are happy that we are a city. I really don't know what is the significance of Eldoret city. The last time that a city was made in Kenya, I think it was Nakuru. And before that, it was Kisumu and Mombasa. In fact, Mombasa survived for a long time without even having a city status under Moi. There was nothing exciting apart from its touristic, attraction thing. So, and I am a proponent for, localizing yourself, speaking more about your region, and the fact that devolution, if it worked, then you should be more excited about your locality, your small region, rather than I'm never excited about Nairobi, for example, because I know that Nairobi has a lot to offer, but I prefer not to be excited by this town, this city called Nairobi. So I think for me, the power of your locality means that, especially if devolution is working, is more important than just claiming to be a city. So for that, I give UDA Kenya Kwanza a thumbs down, because I think it's a job to uplift an area which is always on the news for the wrong reasons, and that's what they're trying to sanitize this place. So that's what my contribution is about the status of Eldoret as a city. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very much for your contribution. The only thing I would like to correct you is that for a municipality to be a city, you need to have at least a population of over 250,000 people. So Eldoret is way past that. Now, in terms of the infrastructure development, you are right. These are some of the things that they need. They need they need street lights. They need infrastructure such as roads, good roads, utilities, public transport. Those ones ought to be in a city. For some of these cities, and especially all the cities in Kenya, apart from Nairobi, that is somehow maybe trying to work. These people, they don't really deserve to have these cities. There's no public transport that is working in all the cities. Kisumu, be it in Eldoret or now Mombasa. The government the county governments have not really tried to capitalize on the status that they have got. But Eli, you need to understand that when a municipality is elevated to a city status, what does it mean economically to the region? One, everything goes up. Everything goes up. If it is rentals, it goes up. If it is land rates, it goes up. And the government will actually help in the development of infrastructure in some of the cities. That is the only benefit that that the cities get, the new cities. I don't know whether the Kenyan government is doing that for Kisumu and many other cities that sprang up after the promulgation of the constitution. So there's this craziness of having a city. Yes, yes, Ellie, you can go ahead. Ellie, you are on mute. You are on mute. Unmute. You are unmute, Ellie. Please unmute. Yeah.
Yes, I think I was speaking on the basis of the older constitution, which required 500,000 and not 250,000. So thanks for your correction.
Yeah, so for Eldoret, Eldoret is now a tourist destination. There's something called sports tourism that is not in most of these cities, and I think what maybe the government is not informed by that, but we can inform them that that is a good tourist sports destination. Many athletes from foreign countries are going to train in Eldoret, and they need modern facilities in terms of infrastructure, in terms of security. They need good security in Eldoret. May this is the time that the government will have to step up in the stadiums, infrastructure development, especially in the uh, stadiums, things to do with sports, athletics. That is their mainstay. And you also know that Eldoret has got very, very big farms and they have an international airport. They can be taking things to various countries abroad through using that Eldoret airport. I don't know what comes from Eldoret that goes to overseas countries. Kisumu, I saw the other time, the Kisii community really tried to make sure that avocados are reaching Europe through the Kisumu airport. I don't know whether that is still happening because at some point Kenya was banned because of these unscrupulous traders who are bringing substandard avocados to Europe. So we were banned for a few years. I don't know whether we have been reinstated back. But Kisumu, largely where we come from, our community does not know what to do with the airport. They just use it for travel instead of using it for export and reaching international markets. For us, the pride is Eli amepanda ndege kutoka JKA, ameland Kisumu, ameenda Ndhiwa. That is the only thing that is happening in towns like cities like Kisumu, being a connection to various places. Yes, it is easy in transport, but you have never heard of the revenue
Hey,
collection of the airport. Hmm? Yes, Eli.
hapo umenichokoza.
Jaluo
Zalendo, you like taking a dig, bwana. Me, I have never ever taken a flight from Nairobi to Kisumu. To Kisumu. I have only taken 2 flights from Kisumu to Nairobi, and that was for very, very I had to do it, but I've never arrived in Kenya. I'm taking now a flight to Kisumu or from Nairobi, or even to Homa Bay, where I think it was people say talk of
Eli,
this
let me tell
renegade.
you.
Ngoja nimalize, usinikate, si nimeuliza.
Maliza, si umesema kitu
Sasa
mzuri.
sikia. Sasa hapo ile airline ya Duale, nasikia ni ya Duale, ile inaenda Homa Bay twice a week, sijui on Friday and Sunday. Yeah, you're renegade. In the Homa Bay Airport airstrip, there's 2 flights from Nairobi by Renegade Air. Now there's a rumor that this Renegade is owned by Duale. Now I don't know if this is the truth or not, but again, I've never used this flight. I always take a bus, meaning to a bus. I arrive in Nairobi, nachukua bus. I go to Shags. That's it. So when you're making assertions there about Elio anachukua ndege sijui nini, and you're saying that all that the people of Kisumu or Nyanza do is to fly on their planes but not doing any commercial things. I mean, I think that's not, you need to provide statistics for those kind of claims, because I don't think that's fair. I think there's people trading. Go ahead.
I'm from Nyanza. Wewe peke yake utoki Nyanza. Me, I'm from Nyanza also. I know that airport, the only thing that that passes through there is luggage and human beings. That is what passes there. In terms of trade, just tell me of any farmer who uses that airport. You come from a farming community. Tell me of anyone of your locals who ule analetaga ngwashe ama sweet potatoes in Europe. Just give me one,
I don't have the statistics for that, but when you have your statistics, you need to show us where you're getting them from.
The data is there. It is there. If you want to,
I will check.
to Kenya.
I will check.
Yeah, go to. If you want to see the goods, the standard of goods that are supposed to go to Europe and all that, visit Kenya Bureau of Standard and see what they have recommended and see what is coming from your area that is going to Europe.
So tell me this: these avocados, are they still not coming from Kisii to Kisumu Airport or Eldoret?
They are no longer coming. They are no longer coming because one, Kenyans and shortcuts. So they took some bad avocados in Europe, and they were not satisfied with the standard of the product. So they banned Kenya for some time because of the commodity that was going to Europe. So Kenya, for a very long time, when I was in Nairobi then, maybe it has been lifted. They are no longer exporting avocado in Europe, and that was something big. It was something very, very big. Yeah, for flowers, you can see what is happening in Naivasha with the train and all that. The flowers are still reaching London, where they still love the Kenyan rose flower so much. We are still maintaining that. But again, the politician is the biggest farmer, is the one who is doing the flower business. Nyinyi wananchi wa kawaida, kazi yetu ni kupiga mdomo tu. But at the same time, the laws they make only favor the political class in terms of business. But having said that, Eli, we have you have been at home recently. You can maybe tell us of what economic development you have seen since devolution came, especially in Homa Bay, where you come from. What did you see as a great achievement with this devolution in practice?
Are you serious? What I see every time I go back is the worst thing that has ever happened to our districts and provinces, as we used to call them. Which I think we're going back to districts and provinces, especially provinces, when this constitution has been reviewed. You find that a lot of investment now in Kisii, Homa Bay, Kisumu, all these counties are investments that have been marshaled by county officers. So ministers in those counties, top officials in those counties, the executives in those counties, they built hotels. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. This is quite open in the open. They built apartments. The infrastructural development is mostly, flowery. There's nothing significant. Even that hospital, for example, in Homa Bay, where devolution, the contempt the politicians have for devolution is what makes those development factors nearly null or zero, because the politicians have, contempt on the benefits of devolution. So what they did was they took the benefits of devolution and personalized those benefits of devolution to the point where if you want to see a hospital that works, you will look at a private hospital in those counties. And then if you want to see garbage collection or a sizable market, you'll fail to see one. But if you see one, the maintenance of those markets is completely rubbish. The businesses that you can say are doing well in our counties are probably the retail sector, and that can be anything from small income retail, people in the market, or small supermarkets that mostly now owned by Kenyan Somalis or Somalis, and also the shops that are owned by the Indians are back for sure in our parts of the country, where they used to be there in the 1950s with their dukawalas. They're back now, and they have warehouses and shops for building construction work equipment. And the local people are left to their devices as farmers, small hand farmers, so in terms of devolution, if you asked me what is there of significance that has changed, because I am aware that now the anniversary of the devolution, CG 27th of August or something like that, it's supposed to be very soon, since the constitution was passed in 2010. There is really nothing significant to celebrate, because the politicians took the devolved powers and they misinterpreted it, like they made it, they just totally misunderstood or did it on purpose, deliberately. They just breached the concept of devolution of powers. And so you find that even tax collection, someone said to me that when I went home recently, that when Awiti was collecting taxes as the governor of Homa Bay, they made a very, very small revenue, and that the new governor, Mrs. Gladys Wanga, stepped up the taxes mpaka they reached unprecedented levels. Maybe the economy of Homa Bay has been revamped. That's what some people are saying. Me, I don't know if this is true, because I can still see there is severe problems in that county. If a person like for an MP, a member of parliament like Kaluma, for example, decides to change the infrastructure of schools by talking about it in parliament, by mobilizing funds, which, because this is the people's rights, because they're paying taxes, unless people are not paying taxes. But people are paying taxes, even if it's not everyone. Why should the schools be rotten as they are? So I would say that there is nothing significant that the devolution has done to Homa Bay County that I can really be excited about. Nothing. I mean, I even hear that there is a Chinese fishing industry now where they're doing serious fish farming, which is again contravening some of the laws of fishing in Kenya. But they're doing it, and this is being encouraged by the powers that be. And at some extent, some people talk about Chinese trawlers and things like that are not allowed to fish on the lake. But serious farming, fish farming, is taking place. I'm not being hateful against the Chinese people, but I am aware that people are talking about the fishing sector, where China is very much involved in Nyanza, in a way contravening some of the laws of fishing or the standards that should be met for producing fish in Kenya. And so that's not good for the economy. The last one I wanted to speak about is what has been happening since the MP Orwa Ojode left the scene. So we know that Orwa Ojode worked with some Indian investors, and they then brought the Ndiwa sugar factory there. And because at the time Orwa was MP from Ndiwa, people were very excited. They were so excited, it was like almost the time when Kenyans were excited about the oil find in Turkana. The oil find in Turkana, and the Kenyans now talking about petrodollars, and that's a story that we should one day have a whole evening talking about. I remember there were stories about people like Wetangula buying land there, and the land prices went sky high in Turkana. But what has happened in Homa Bay County is that when Orwa Ojode introduced serious sugarcane farming in Diwa, of course there was the Awendo, Sony Sugar Company already in place, and it was going up and down. But now this the Diwa effect of sugarcane farming, of course, affected the food production in the region, because people were now planting more cane than planting food for daily, subsistence or even selling at the market. But what has happened with this sugarcane? It was meant to be part of back up the local economy. But has it really done that? Because a lot of people, instead of benefiting from the growing of sugarcane, they've decided to cut their cane and do other businesses. And it's very unfortunate, because I don't know how this was supposed to turn out. We've heard stories about sugar being repackaged as Ndiwa sugar, but it's not. And that happens in different parts of the Kenyan economy, where things are repackaged in some go-downs in Mombasa as Kenyan, but they're not. They could bring sugar from as far as Brazil or North America. So in terms of the sugarcane farming, and I'm sure that Mzalendo, you can speak authoritatively about this as well, because you're from the same region, and even Penny Nyagaka, even though Penny Nyagaka's sugarcane is not is not worthy for making sugar, it's for just snacking, the Kisi sugar is not for making sugar cane. Sugar. It's a snack, and we do love it. But yeah, you guys are both authorities to talk about sugar. But I would have thought that the sugarcane industry, if it was properly managed in our region, then it could have backed up the local economy during these times of devolution. My my final word about this is that I agree with many Kenyans that the constitution needs to be rechecked once and for all. We've seen the mistakes we've done with it. Now let's sit down and say enough is enough. There are too many counties, too many. Everyone is saying we're overrepresented, and it's true. So Kenyans need to think about downsizing, and that will help the economy. I think that's the best options that we have. Thank you.
Penny, do you have something to say before I say something to Eli? Eli, you mentioned Sukari industry. Sukari industry, the guy who brought Sukari industry is my uncle. So I know quite a bit about even how the land was got and who owned the land. Interestingly, that that the where the factory sit, that land belonged to Kanyotu, a Kikuyu. So you can imagine the projection. Some of the people in government, and that's why people want to be in government. There are some developments right now that maybe the government has projected that they have to start a mining factory in somewhere in Viwa, and eventually they have known the geographical location of that mine where it will be started. Somebody in government already knows that. So what they do is that they look for, they make sure that Eli who owns that land somewhere in where he comes from, they buy that land 10 years before the government starts pumping money to that area. So that money, that land is bought by Mzalenda, who already knows the government plan in terms of development and projection. So by the time you've already sold your land, you realize that there's a big factory coming to your land that you had sold to Mzalendo. Then you wonder, oh my God, I sold this land for peanuts. Now, Mzalendo is selling for the government this land for 400 million, 1 billion. Then that's how the smart people are working in government right now. They know the projection. People like Namaina Wanjigi, they know what government is doing and the tenders that are there. So they place themselves in strategically to ensure that they grab these opportunities. But as we said, we are fighting very hard. Well, that's why we are always here talking about resizing government and representation. We are overrepresented. We are overrepresented in most of the counties. We have a county like Oma Bay, which is the neighboring county is Kisi, and they have ministers. They have ministers. Then again, Oma Bay, a few kilometers, there is also Migori County, who have got similar ministers. The weather pattern in Oma Bay and Migori are the same, and Kisi, by extension, nearly the same, apart from the rainfall that Kisi receives. Now, we have ministers that we are paying in all these counties to do basically a job that is supposed to be done by the cabinet secretary in the national government, who coordinates government activities. So we don't need these ministers at the county level. They are being paid some huge amounts of salaries, practically doing nothing. In 10 years of devolution, and now we are going to 15. my agricultural minister then, a very good friend of mine, and I know he's listening. When Aguko Juma, I'll bring him into the show. Aguko Juma was the minister for agriculture in Homa Bay during Awiti's time. So Aguko worked at the ministry. He tried to improve the farmers in the region. Then when Awiti lost, of course, they were kicked out. Aguko today is the biggest farmer in Olambwe. He has got acres of land that is doing farming. He's doing farming. And while he was the minister, he did not really empower his people to do the same of what he's doing. People are coming from all over to study Aguko's farm in Lambu, what this guy is doing. If you tell him that he wants to get in politics, he tells you, no, I'm making I'm making 5 million every month. What am I going to do in politics, in farming alone in Lambu? So we have got a potential, but the leadership do not know how to harness uh, the potential that the people are having. The land is there. In our case, the land is there, and it is fertile. But look, politics is the order of the day. When Eli wakes up, when your village brother wakes up or uncle wakes up, they go to the center with a bakora. And the first thing they ask is, what is Raila saying? Raila, wacha na ngoka uone. Mm? you, you see, and you don't want to listen to that because that is the nature of
When I
we are,
when I was sorry, but I wanted
yeah.
to interject. I was there when this man was, nominated to be a finance minister. This guy from Suba,
Body.
Badi. And if you went to a place as a social setting, people were already talking about this is. I actually know. I went to a Rambe in a school, and when people are doing the sei, unajua kupiga sei.
Yeah. Hii ni sahi ya 1000
And this is
imetoka.
from Badi. And in fact, that afternoon, I was in Homa Bay, and I thought, what is going on here in Homa Bay town? People are just dancing and cheering, and I asked someone, and they said Mbadi has been made minister. So people were mobilized by some politicians in order to go and celebrate in the towns, and like they dropped their tools, whatever jobs they were doing. And of course, they must have been given a few shillings. It's something I still don't understand in our political makeup as Kenyans, because I think some African countries are adopting a different style, especially the ones that are, ruled by the three military leaders of Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Mali. And I'm not saying that that's the only option left. But right now, if you study the discourse of change in Burkina Faso, those guys are very, very serious. They're doing what most African countries should do. They're expanding with this wastage of resources is just being thrown out. They're buying ambulances. They're bringing farm tools, equipment to people in the villages. They're talking about less and less involvement of the Bretton Woods, IMF, and World Bank. Some people are objecting to what is going on in those three countries and saying, look, this is Russia funding these countries. But when I look at Russia and I look at the West and China, I see no difference. So, and I'm not saying this as if I'm purporting to support the leader of Russia, But in terms of people saying that this is Russia, so it must stop. So I agree with the example what you gave this guy in Lambwe. You just didn't want to say whether he's corrupt or not, because obviously you said he's your friend, but you know that he was a minister of agriculture in Homa Bay County. And as you've said, he has a large tract of land, which he may not have got it if he wasn't the minister for agriculture in that part of Kenya, you know. And I was not even surprised when you mentioned Kanyotu having been the person who owned that land for the Sukari industries in Dhiwa. I'm not surprised. You know, I'm not surprised at all. What's happening now in Homa Bay County, because you are asking about our regions where we come from, is the land that used to be cheap 5-10 years ago is now beginning to be very expensive, because people are now speculating seriously about land in this province. And also you hear rumors about like certain parts of the county has minerals and things like that. So people are using different forms of speculation so that they can up the prices of land. And so a lot of, you know, this ancestral land is being sold now left, right, and center. And ancestral land will make no sense in the next 10, 15, 20 years because it will be passed on and then it will all be commercialized. And most people now will not talk of having land in their homes, because that's, you know, you gave a typical example of that guy who was the former agriculture minister in Homa Bay County. So where did all those people go? The ones that had that land as part of their ancestry. So that's what I'm saying, that and without sounding as if I'm being too critical about it, but those are the realities that are happening now in the villages there. And you can see that a lot of people are now going to those sub-towns, staying there, because their land, their ancestral land, has been sold. They've sold it, they sent their kids to school, they've done the Eldoret thing, and the rest is history. I think it's Uhuru Kenyatta who said in the presidential debate of 2013 that when he was questioned about, and thoroughly he was questioned about the land that is owned by that family, the Kenyatta family, which is almost the size of Nyanza province. And he said it was a case of willing buyer, willing seller, willing seller, willing buyer. And I think this is the issue in Kenya. If it could be controlled the way it is done in Tanzania, maybe we could have a resemblance of sense and sensibility, because right now I think the land acquisition in Kenya is a very, very, very big problem. And it will never be solved in the way it is right now. You can put so many commissions, land commission, I don't know what commissions, gee what, but if the ideology of how we acquire land is the same, that someone like that chap you talked about can have such a large size of land, something which he knows that he's not going with anywhere. When he dies, he's dead. That land is not his anymore. Why does he have such a swath of land? You know, so it's some of these things is maybe personal, ideological. Me being a card-carrying socialist, I would really, I take exception about how we own land in our country. Thank you.
I wish you could go on and go on about the land issue. I mean, why would people own big tracts of land? Somebody is owning 1,000 acres, the others are owning 500 acres. You know, there should be some regulations on the size, the amount of land that you need to own in Kenya. There must be, that thing has to be regulated. That thing has to be regulated. Even the amount of property that you need to own, as if you are a government official, that there needs to be some extent of, we need to check your lifestyle audit. I said the reason why I asked you, because whenever I tell people, whenever I was telling you this before you went home, you were like, no way, that lady is doing a good job, until you went to Oma Bay District Hospital and saw with your own eyes that indeed Oma Bay is just a waste of time. Now, the ministers, the CSS, are the ones who are having the development projects there. Now, the constructors, there are people who are today. We have got uh, in the village. Your old friend. You'll find that he never he never went to any engineering school, but right now is the one who is constructing roads in in uh, in Homa Bay. Is a big contractor, and the county government owes them billions of shillings. And you want to look at where are these roads, where this business community are claiming money that they have done a job at the county and the county has refused to pay them. These roads are not even there. These roads are not even there. All the contractors in Homa Bay and most of the counties, they have completed their jobs, but the roads are nowhere to be seen, and yet there is a lot of money that is being owed to them. Now, lawyers, if you go and to see the wage bill, yeah, yeah, counties, most counties, I think they have sought out billions. Yeah, at a county government paid 400 million for a lawyer in a town like Homa Bay. So now you try to look at the books or go even to court to find out what was this case that that cost so much that we paid this lawyer so much. There are no fee, there are no records. There are no records. Ni wizi tu inaendelea pale. Mm. That's why with the finance bill, I was very, very mad when Ruto was adding money to the county government. Yet there's a lot of looting going on in the counties. You add the more money they keep on, they get richer. Mm. Without the checks and balances, we are not going anywhere with these counties. We need to go back to the old provincial boundaries. That was easier to manage, easier to, with a lean with a lean government, so that we develop the counties faster. I believe if we have diversities in the counties, you see, like county like Homa Bay, that's what we are, a topic we had yesterday. A county like Homa Bay, right now, early, the governor for Homa Bay is the chairman for ODM party. She is going to seek re-elections in 2027 on that party. Eli wants to run on an ODM ticket against the chairman of the party, who is the incumbent governor. Do you think there will be a fair process here? There's no fairness at all, at all. And that is what we have been talking about, that leaders who are elected should not hold office in political parties. That brings unfair representation in the constituencies and the counties at large, because if a governor, according to the structures, he wants to work with MCAs from various wards. In Homa Bay, there are 40 wards. Now, he will select the people who will to align as governor. The people that she has worked with are the ones that are going to be given the certificate. So there's a lot of conflict of interest, and that there's no democracy in these political parties. That's why the issue of governance is a bit wanting in some of these counties. No accountability, no proper representation. The kind of leaders that you get are selected by the party and the political structure. So you have no say to elect a leader that you want today in Omabay. You will one day want to run for office in Ndiwa, because I see your appetite in politics. You really want to give it a shot. But let me give you the first warning, because us, we have been there before. Any political
Why
leader.
do you always get it wrong?
No, I always get it right. Maybe it is your art that wants, but your mind is telling you no. There are two things here. There are two communications that are maybe happening to you. Uh, Akili inataka lakini roho inakataa. Mm. So some of so these are the things that happen. So you might understand. You want to be in the politics, but the game is controlled by the political leader. So that is what is happening in the country. Oh, unless you have got a different opinion altogether, Eli. But it's just a bunch of thieves from the political leadership to now the voters who are the enablers. The voters who are the enablers, you saw them how they were behaving the other day. You were back in the village. Uliona, these are people that can be controlled by anything. You can control the emotions of voters. And the emotions of voters in Nyanza is the easiest way to control them. Give them what they want and you will get what you want. Without any fight. Give them what they want and you'll get what you want.
Those are stereotypes.
You call it those are stereotypes. There's no way. I
Yeah,
mean,
because what you're saying is that that you have some statistics, you have some data about what you're saying. But if you don't have any data about what you're saying there, it's just a stereotype. Because who knows every voter in Nyanza? And you know, Nyanza is not just the Luo people. The Kisi population is in Nyanza. And the Kuria population is in Nyanza. You know? And also, we can talk of the diaspora community. No. Let me finish. We can also talk of the diaspora communities that moved to different parts of Nyanza from Western over the longest period of the long 20th century, you know. So in the 1950s and so on, there were people who moved from Western Kenya and became part of Nyanza, you know. So honestly, if you are going to say things with data, then it's highly recommended. But you cannot say that all laws will line up and start clapping and cheering because something has happened where Ruto has gone back to his old house, which is ODM. Ruto has always been in ODM, by the way. This guy and Raila, they're friends. They've never really left each other, you know. So people forget these things. But and then some people put on social media that because we are Nilots like the Kalenjins, we were always going to get back together. It's a lot of nonsense. Me, I believe in individuals who have made their decisions to either support or not support. To then decide that people think as a group, it's maybe they've been coerced. Most populations are coerced by governments or political parties. But deep inside that person could be thinking ideologically differently from the party that is coercing them, I think. So, you know, and again, sorry, I want to go back to this land issue. Just one point I forgot to mention. that is not unique of Kenya, because it's almost like we copied the West. Because when you go to these countries, like in the UK, you'll find that, like for example, in the UK, you'll find that the percentage of people who own land is very, very, very tiny. You know, maybe up to something like 5% of the population of the UK own the large, vast tracts of land. And those people who own the large tracts of land in Kenya, they don't even pass 10% of the population. So it looks like a universal problem. And then it looks like an ideological problem. And then you can imply that it's mostly capitalist economies. Like Kenya is a very aggressive capitalist economy. Kenyans just buy anything and bring it from China or Turkey and resell it. I was in Kamukunji market the other day. You know, you are a Nairobian Zalendo, and you know those malls in Kamukunji, which mostly sell you know, not fake products but substandard things. You know, using brand names that are
Chinese shoes, things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I just thought to myself, who is really behind these buildings, and who is really pushing these products? This can't be the normal daily, everyday Kenyan person. You know, that's the question. The conundrum is there, because you find that those people who are selling those things are still struggling. But there is people in the bigger picture. And that's the same situation where, when you mentioned the issue of part of Kenya like Kisumu, people don't commercialize their flights. You know, it's only flying because you know, for happiness reasons or something like that. But you find that for people who are economically serious in shifting things abroad or from one airport to another at an industrial scale, there are licenses involved in this. And there's the political power games that you know that an ordinary Kenyan cannot reach. So that's why when I saw what was, you know, honestly I had never been to those Kamukunji malls, and I was really shocked, because I spent like literally the whole day studying the behavior of people there. How is it that this person is actually making money? Is it their money, or these shops are owned by one person on one floor? Ama, it's all these different. You tell me, because
Yeah, I mean,
you know, you find five young ladies in one shop. At SG now they're packing SG dozens of cups, or you know, hats there, and the SG Kenyan flag and all these kind of things, man. That if you are in an Indian shop in the town, you'll buy for like, say, something like 700 shillings. But in Kamukunji, you get a dozen for for maybe 700 shillings.
Eli, you mentioned the flags, and I feel nostalgic about the issue of flags. Do you know? Do you know this flag that you see Kenyans carrying each and every time? I am the first person to design that flag in Kenya, and we designed it with a friend of mine called Ayub. And the reason why we designed the flag is because Arambe Stars one day, I think it was in the 90s, was it
Yeah.
about 2000 there, 2000 something, was playing against Burkina Faso. And we wanted to see our fans cheering like the ones in Europe. So we decided to make flags. And I had a shop in Donholm called City. Everybody who out there knows iCity was the first gaming shop in Kenya. So iCity, we decided every in the night we make those flags so that we can hawk them in the game at Kasarani. So we bought we went to hardware, we bought the wood, we chopped them to fine straws, and we designed the flag, printed them out, cut them into pieces, and made sure that we used glue and all that. We did that the whole night. We had made about 5,000 or maybe 2,000, 3,000 flags there. We went the next day. The next day was the game. So we hired the boys to each and every person. We gave 200 flags. You take 300 ladies to go. You go and sell the flag. We made a lot of money on that day because all the flags were sold, and people were. You see the TV. People were with flags from Kenya. But wait, the next match that Kenya was playing, somebody managed to go and make these flags in China. Brought and they killed the business. They made the flags in China. Killed my business, and that's how it ended.
And you can be a genius, but you cannot copyright a flag.
You cannot copyright a flag. You cannot copyright a flag. And I remember when Obama was running for the first time, I also designed the first shirt and the first bumper sticker in Kenya. So when we designed that, we started hawking them. Then I met this American lady somewhere in Gong. I was hawking them literally. I met this American lady who asked me, "Are you sure that she was a missionary?" She told me, "Are you sure that this is going to happen? They're gonna kill him. It can't happen." Then she bought like five pairs of t-shirts of Obama branded t-shirts, and she shed tears on that particular day. She couldn't believe that somebody in Kenya, Africa, believes that an Africa by the name Obama is going to win the elections in America. They could not believe it. I wish I could meet her wherever she is right now. Maybe she's very old, but those are the experiences that you get in
So
Kenya.
you think it's industrialization, um,
Uh,
or what? Because you see, for example, this thing here, this wristband,
yes.
with the Kenyan colors.
Mm.
These things were made by those Masai and the Kamba artisans, artists or cultural
Yes.
enthusiasts
Mm-hmm.
who are selling them at Masai market.
Mm-hmm.
But guess who is making them now?
They
They're
could
made
be
in
made
China.
by China. Yeah, they could be made by China. Yeah. So you see,
So
and we have allowed that to come back in the country. So
I
it
was
is.
I was talking about the calabash. Now it's plastic. It's made in China. I was talking to some villagers back home, and I said to them, "I'm interested to know where I can find that udo,
Yeah,
that
the
used to be grown."
traditional calabash. Yes,
Yes, I am telling you,
it's called
I looked
aguata. Aguata.
everywhere. I could not find a seed for that plant. Everywhere. But I was told that somewhere in towards Karachuonyo, those sides, they're selling fresh aguatas, so there's some people who might be growing them those sides. But these are things that used to be all
Can you
over
imagine?
Luo
Yeah.
Nyanza.
Can you imagine if we had maintained and safeguarded that industry? That this is part of our culture. This is part of our heritage. This is what we use traditionally. If you go to the village, you will not find a modern cup like this, but you'll find an aguata that is branded. Is branded by a local in the village.
Wait,
But that,
Mzalendo,
yeah,
that's
like a
my mission. That's my
yeah.
mission. So instead of just talking about it, me, I'm going to grow these things. I am telling you, people will laugh, but I have to bring them back. Aguata has to be there.
Yeah, it has to be there. And we got like My grandmother used to sell uji in the village, and my grandmother would sell the best uji in the village. And sometimes I think she was doing it for fun, because everybody used to come there on a market day, tell her, uh, Ajuli, I don't have money today. Can I get a glass of uji? And she would give them uji for free. She would give them uji for free. Anaweka kwa hiyo agwata, wanakunywa, and that is it. But today you are telling me that calabash is not there. We killed our industries. We killed them a long time ago. We killed even the Buddha. What is it in English? Is it Buddha? Is what in English?
It's it's
Ah,
it's it's not
pumpkin.
butternut. It's not.
It's not. It is not. What is that?
Me, I
What
just
is?
know it. I just know it as Buddha, and in fact, even Buddha has different family
Oh,
names, different strands.
let me ask somebody. Leo. I can see you. Karibu. What is Buddha? What is Buddha? That is what?
But also, their canvas, they make this calabash as well. So
Yeah, so
it is some.
you see that wristband. It's very popular. It is something that the Maasais are doing it. If you go to Kikomba, there's a place where they are doing it very well. You can buy a lot of sculptures. I know you don't know those places. Next time I'll show you the places you buy some good sculptures in Kikomba at a good price. There in Kikomba you can buy good sculptures. Those things, wristbands on wholesale, made by the Maasais themselves, other than buying for Chinese wristbands. I think that this is what we need to emphasize a lot here on Africa, that there are Kenyans who are making these things, and when they make these things, make sure that we promote them instead of buying one from China, and we kill that industry, that import that is coming into our country from China, of these wristbands. And it is the locals who are importing these things. It's not the Chinese who are bringing them back. It is our people who are bringing in these things, because cheap labor is in China. They have machines to make these things very fast, so they are bringing them back in a way. Like Osam is saying, that calabash is what the Kisis are also using to make their milk called Eriorongori. Penny Nyagaka will tell you about Eriorongori. Uh, in uh, in uh, in Kalenjin, they call it Mursik. In Luo Nyanza, that calabash I think is the one also used to make more Luo and things like that. The ghee, so many things. The fermented milk, we get it from the calabash. Now, if we have killed all that, then we are going back to that. We need to go back so that we safeguard that product that was coming from our people. So every community, Masai, Samburu, Ijembes, they drink mursik. Now, if the mursik would be made with material from China, it will never be the same again. We want to see the traditional being made by the traditional mama in the village, but not with a plastic gourd or a plastic pot. We need it with the traditional pumpkin. Yeah, it's pumpkin. Pumpkin is what we call Buddha, pumpkin. So yeah, that is it. So
I will I will
Mhm.
show you. This is what you are talking about.
Yeah, guata. You love it. You see now, yeah, very clean. Now that
Very clean.
aguata, you can even
And
drink now. You can
I
even
have
use
five
it.
of them in the
Yeah,
house.
And yeah, there were others. I used to have them as decorations also. They were very
No,
also
no,
good
no.
in decorations.
As we use them, bana, not decorations.
Actually, I have others which I use for decoration too, but I don't
Yeah.
use them because first making that uji the way it's made in the village is so difficult. So I'm wondering what you're using it in London. What are you using it? You're using agwada to drink tea, or you're using it to drink.
We use it for porridge, bana.
Uh, Ellie, I can bet you don't even know how to make good porridge. That
What are
one
you
is
talking about? Do you want me to show you the stuff I have here? Are you joking?
no.
Me, I use it for porridge.
Do you know how to make porridge? Good porridge.
Bwana, wewe sikia, mimi namshinda hata bibi yangu kupika.
That one is hata mimi hata hiyo ni kitu ya kawaida. Unajua
Alafu
kupika watu.
uji ninatengeneza kwa njia rahisi sana, tena uji poa sana Sasa nisikudanganye. So I'm very health conscious and nikipika uji nakwambia
Unaitengeneza na unga gani? Unga ya wimbi ama unga ya
hata nikitengeneza na mahindi ile unga ya kawaida, lakini ninatengeneza ya wimbi. Hiyo ikiisha, we have some African shops around here. Yeah, so these Nigerians and Ghanaians, they have some shops that have these products.
Ghanaians, they have some nice flour. Their food is
the
almost
flour,
similar to ours.
they're a little bit expensive compared to back home, but we have them and we use them. Yes. So anyway, I have a tall day tomorrow. I'm very, very busy tomorrow.
All right,
so
even as we have finished there, I think I just wanted to play this. Thank you, Eli, for being around.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to play this thing for one day to enjoy the moment.
Oh my God.
Wanda is being welcome. Anyway, I can't watch that nonsense for for a minute. That was the new CS being welcomed in Siaya. So that is where we are politically. Those are the things that we celebrate. Anyway, Lely, thank you for giving me company this evening.
Thank you.
And good night wherever we are.
Thank you.
Penny,
Thank you.
good evening. And awesome, asante sana for being on the show today. Who else was on this particular show that I didn't say? Gypsy Corner, asante sana kwa kutuambia zinaitwa pumpkins. So pumpkin, leo tumezijua. I saw Leo sometimes back sneaking into the studio and leaving. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow, same time. If you have any other topical issues that you want us to discuss, like Kip brought the issue of Eldoret City, just bring your issues. Send us an email. We will look at it and bring it up. If you've got a county that is being looted, also bring that issue here, that story here. We will also try and air that particular story here on Afrique. That is what we do on a daily basis. We are trying to be the people's watchdog. Right now, that we don't have an opposition in government, the fourth estate ought to do what they need to do in order to keep the government in check. Otherwise, thank you guys and see you tomorrow.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance, presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru. Bed of Roses promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there. Join us every
All right. Kwaherini Majama. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place. I've been your host, Mzalendo kama kawaida.